Hello and good evening.
The state of the World of Darkness fandom is not where I wanted it to be. Kyle, it feels like nothing has really changed in 2 years.
Well, I mean, we got us.
We've been making videos on this channel for 2 years now, by this point.
We're doing pretty damn good, I'd say.
Yeah, happy anniversary to us. and once again, we're never going to monetize it. Am I really where I want to be after 2 years? Well, not really. I would like to hit the 1,000K mark, but you know what? Do I really am I in that big of a rush to grow big? Because Kyle, we're in a pretty good spot where we are right now, where I couldn't do a live play. I have a lot of stuff prepared for our next episode of Mage the Ascension, but I just could not do it because I was in the crunch at work.
That's not your fault, and our fan base understands.
It was stuff that was pulled out of my hands, and I just could not get to it no matter what. I uploaded a little bank up video anyway, and it did okay, but you ended up running a game night that night instead with the server.
I did. I was like, initially I was thinking like, I'll do Quiplash for the mini moot, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, fuck the mini moot. Let's just get everybody together and have fun. Let's not worry about the channel for a minute. Let's just get our fan base together. Whoever wants to show up can show up. And, we all came out. We played, Quiplash. We had a great time. I had to dip for a little bit because my roommate came home and his family was with him. But I came back and everybody was still talking, still interacting. I met some other folks in the server who I hadn't talked to before. And it was really great getting to sit down and, just be a group with everybody. Not content creators, just a part of something.
Because the size we're at right now, it's pretty easy, it's pretty manageable, because Ryan is a really fantastic moderator, where he's ground a show, he's one of the funniest guys we know, and whenever he moderates, he does it very well. He always catches his stuff before I can. And I'll frequently tell him, thank you for moderating, thank you for moderating, thank you for catching this, thank you for putting an end to this. If it was starting to go off the rails, you came in, you handled it, you did great. And he does a fantastic job, and along with it, where everybody knows where I stand with them in the server, where if I have a problem with you, I will let you know we have a problem. If I think you're doing something good, I'll let you know that you're doing something good. Where I'm not at a point where the audience has gotten to the size where I can't keep track of everybody, because we're doing pretty well for ourselves right now, and we're still not going to monetize the channel, because this has always been a friend project first and foremost between us, where we'll get part of the reason into why we started the channel later in the video, but this has always been me, Colin, Ryan's project. It's what we're doing, and I know that the minute we bring money into it, it's going to fall apart. Where somebody's going to get jealous, somebody's going to want another cut, somebody's not going to handle the money right, somebody's not going to spend on production costs. That's why we're not doing a Patreon, we're not doing a Ko-Fi, we're not going to put our PayPals in the description, we're not going to put a Cash Apps in the description, we're not going to do any of that.
We're here for the love of the game.
Because I've seen this multiple times where a channel that starts off small gets big and starts aggressively monetizing their content, where under no circumstances am I doing that. And we're doing pretty good for ourselves too, because we made the 3.5 document, and I've been informed that that document is now out in the wild. That's been thrown out into space, where Squeegee in our server messaged me saying, hey, I found your 3.5 edition on Scribd. I said, Scribd? I didn't upload to Scribd. What are you talking about? And he said, oh, well, it's on Scribd right now, and, well, you know what? I actually don't care. I mean, you pirated a free product. I wasn't ever going to sell that thing for money. I was never going to monetize the project. I just said, just to prove a point that it's not that difficult to run and build a tabletop game, I made 3.5 on my own. I brought you in to help me. I brought Ryan in to help me. I brought in fan suggestions. I made that. I staffed it all together. I paid artists from money out of my own pocket that I didn't have to fucking open a GoFundMe for. And I could still do it, and if I wanted to go into a bigger project, I have the money that I could do that for. I don't need to crowdfund anything.
Yeah, hell, I'd back it.
And then it came out. And same thing with you, where you have your own projects as well, because you're writing books.
Yes, I'm on my second to last revision, I think, and then it'll actually be out. And then I gotta finish that website, get an Amazon link for it, and Well, not on Amazon. I'm debating on doing either GoDaddy or AWS. I might do GoDaddy just because it's easier. But
Well, Kyle, it's 2025. Do you really need a like independent site for it on its own, or can we also like have like a official Twitter page or?
I'm definitely
like,
going to. Like,
yeah.
My current phone is kind of shit. So what I'm gonna do is get a better phone, wipe all the data off this old one, make it into a burner specifically for posting socials, and just do it that way. And why do I want the official website? Honestly, for the lore hungry, and also to say that, yes, indeed, I do have a website for it. You might think it's a little bit extra, but I'm like, you
got plenty of people that already run businesses just off of the next page alone. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I really need. So, it's easier to run a business online now, I think.
Very much so.
You don't necessarily need to go to Wix or Squarespace or any of this. You can just run this yourself. Like, you got people like selling and buying stuff off of TikTok. And all they have for it is just a TikTok account, and that's it.
Yeah.
And Ryan's a busy man as well, so we're all in good places, and we all have day jobs. We all do a lot of work. And the mission statement as to why I started this channel is because I wanted to steer the conversation of World of Darkness away from a road that I did not want to see it go down. Where, Kyle, I cannot stand D&D anymore. I can't do it. I hit my breaking point for it yesterday. Where
what happened?
Radiant said, "Oh, that game that I told you I was hate playing."
Oh, you're
where,
no fucking hate watching, Johnny. We talked about
it's that the Dungeon Master the Dungeon Master did not tell me what rules he was using. Did not tell me the difference between his house rules or an official rule. And when I tried to go in talking to him, saying, "Oh, he said, a held action spell uses up the spell slot." I said, "You're the one and only Dungeon Master I've ever met on Roll20 that rules that. You're the only one I've ever seen say that." And he said, and I brought up in this player handbook saying, "Well, that leads to held action not even here, but I'm looking around for this, and it for rating a spell in the player's handbook, it doesn't spend a spell slot." The thing that he cited was a tweet made by Jeremy Crawford 5 years after the player's handbook was printed.
Hold up. So run that back real quick. So he's saying holding a spell or as an action
uses the spell slot that turn.
So you'd be using 2 spell slots then.
That's a rule in 3rd edition, not in 5th edition, because 5th edition never wrote rules for held spell slots to begin with. So
I figure that's just a hold action. When
so this
A
is a
occurs,
rule that was never
cast.
put into print. That this is a house rule for a house rule. They're treating it like official text.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I fucking went off on him in the middle of the channel and just walked out of the game after it ended. And it's every D&D gamer, every fucking Dungeon Master I play with, Kyle, has no business running these games. Where they either have no energy, they don't tell you what the rules are, or the story just sucks. And I feel like I'm at the point where Roll20 is in its twilight, where like D&D's tabletop project didn't go anywhere. Nobody's really using alchemy. Nobody's using foundry. So if we're ever going to get big as a channel, we're probably not, because I think tabletop gaming it's gonna as big as it's gonna get. But we're still gonna run the channel. We're doing it anyway because we have a passion for this project, and it's still a friend project between us. That's what we're gonna do. So the goal is we're not gonna get big. We're not gonna go off on anywhere, but we're gonna stay where we are now. But that direction with D&D, where Kyle, I started seeing this game start going down a dark road with Raven of Frostmaiden. Where, how familiar are you with that module?
I've played about, I joined you for a little bit of it, and then the game sort of fell apart after a little bit.
Is that because we brought in a literal Spurg who wanted to play the Ghost Rider and then ruined the game because of it?
The Ghost Rider?
Yeah, he kept showing me homebrew and kept saying, "I'm quitting the game if you don't let me play as this."
No, I don't remember that dude.
Well, there's a reason you don't remember that dude. He was terrible at role-playing.
That's fair.
And I'm pulling up the map because all the names of the towns begin to blend together in my mind. But there was one encounter in one of the towns in 10 towns that I was looking at this, I was thinking, does this have a place in World of Darkness? I think it's Bremen, or it's either Bremen or Tremelaine, where you meet this androgynous elf, and the game like really brings attention to how androgynous the elf is in a way that almost feels like fetishistic. And I'm thinking, why are we even bringing this up as a conversation? Like, why is this something that we're trying to pull attention to the world of darkness? I mean, sure, like this is a social issue that's like topical today, and I honestly don't have an issue with it. Where Kyle, I told you about the Tuesday group. We have June in that game,
Yeah.
and the reason I stuck around with the Tuesday game for that long is because of June and the relationship I have with June, where I'm pretty comfortable friends with June. But when you like bring attention to it like that and write it that clumsily in D&D, I honestly don't think it had a place in D&D, and it just kept going down and going down and going down a road.
It does if you handle it right. For example, my sister plays a drow named Roken, and Roken prior to joining the party was a part of one of the houses as a warrior. Still very clearly a male character, but, had, very long hair, very feminine figures, but still went as, a guy. But the thing is, he would use the androgynous sort of figure of the character to his advantage as an assassin. He would later join he would be purchased from a brothel that he worked at after escaping his family's house when they threatened to kill him. Worked there for several hundred years, made a lot being an androgynous person working at a brothel, was purchased to the surface, worked for another client, left that client, escaped that client, I should say, found their way to, I believe it was, what's the town you started in Storm Kings? I forget. Nightstone?
That would be Nightstone. Yes.
Yeah, found his way over to Nightstone. The fact that he was still like sort of androgynous character, he used that to his advantage because he worked as an assassin. He was a Black Widow kind of character, and it worked for that. But it's not like brought specific attention to, and it sort of became a running joke in the game because Colts kept mistakenly calling Roken her, and that was just like a fun little thing that happened in the game. And he eventually like grew out of that once he got familiar with Roken. It was like, no, that's Roken. That's dude. Whatever.
Where it's going to sound like a really liberal thing for me to say, and people were making a mistake about this when I made that Roll20 video, where if there's a story where there is a character who is trans or non-binary, I don't have a problem with it. If there's a character that's in a story that's gay, I also don't have a problem with it. If there's a narrative reason for the character to be that, and it makes sense for a story and it plays into the story's theme and core story, then do it. I want you to do it. But if it's there just for the sake of being there, only for the sake of like being part of like current events or a current message or just the current times, that's something where I'm saying, like, do you actually have respect for this topic, or are you just doing it just to appear,
to make yourself look good?
Just to make yourself look good, which is how I felt with Dream Daddy when that game came out back in 2017 when Dream Daddy came out, where that was when I was still like trying to piece together those feelings, Kyle, and I felt singled out by it, and I said, you know what, I don't want to tell anybody how I feel and where I stand. This is how I'm going to be perceived.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the same reason
set
why
the bar back, so it reduced the progress.
This is why I don't like telling people who I go for. This is why I don't like telling people this, because I'm going to be perceived in this way for a box that's been made for me. And you can tell how much this bothers me because I'm not seeing the word.
Trust me, I got my own skeletons in my own closet. I'm on the same page in my own dilemmas.
And then I kept seeing that with D&D where Candlekeep Mysteries was okay, but Ravenloft, where like, what the fuck did you do with the Frankenstein world? And then Wild Beyond the Witchlight, like, started going down the road with D&D where combat stopped being important entirely. And then Strixhaven came out. And Kyle, I think you remember just how much Strixhaven pissed me off.
Strixhaven, the one that was just like blatantly racist towards Hispanic people.
Well, that's Radiant Citadel.
Oh, okay.
That's where it played into. That was a game that played into racial stereotypes instead of trying to defy them. Where The guy that started that game was like he's this guy that's known for a TED talk, and he's psychotically smirking to the camera, talking about saying, "Wizard of the Coast is more understanding about people and diversity than any other company out there. Therefore, we're better than any other developer, and we're more understanding about these topics than anyone else. And yet, the modules involve treating voodoo as synonymous as witchcraft, going into this world that's based on China, and you just have to deal with two families that both sell rice as a profession that argue with each other and follow the Asian rudeness stereotypes to a T. And then you go into all these other worlds where, like the one that really pissed me off was like the second level where the main villain, who's like this fiend warlock, is just a guy who's Hispanic and just like jeans, a button-up shirt, a sombrero with a chicken underneath his arm.
Yeah, that's just like ridiculous. I remember seeing that. I'm like, this is a fucking caricature. This is rough.
Yeah, this like you fucking like Speedy Gonzalez had more dignity than this.
I mean, Hispanic audiences love Speedy Gonzalez.
And then Keys to the Golden Vault came out in the fucking prison's like highest. Like I'm done. I was just done with D&D, where I said it's over. And then I saw it with the fucking fandom too, because now in these games I feel like I can't fucking say anything to anyone at the table now, because anything is going to turn into a hostile conversation. Where Kyle, you remember the period where we just did not speak, right? Halfway through 2017 to 2019 is just where we were both pissed at each other and we didn't say a word to each other.
Yeah, I think, I remember that.
And I was trying to find companionship with anyone else, so the only people I had to talk to were leftists. And I felt like I just could not say a word to anybody without somebody taking something I said that did not mean anything
completely
as offensive.
Out of context,
I'll just have a conversation with somebody, and I would say, "Oh, what do you think about da da da?" And they would say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" I'm thinking, "Huh?" And they're saying, like, "No,
I'm having a fucking conversation with you,
right
dog.
now. Like, you gotta tell me what you mean right now." And I'm thinking, "Are we good? Are you like actually like
upset
mad
with
about
me?
something?"
What's going on?
And it got to the point where I would talk to people where just anything I would say would set them off, or all these people are like talking to each other in DMs. I'm clearly out of a loop of something, and I just found no fucking companionship. And I don't know if that's like a left thing, but it felt like this. I couldn't trust anybody that was on the left. I couldn't talk to anybody on the left. I couldn't joke about anything with anybody on the left, and it felt like I was just going fucking crazy. Like, is everyone like this now? And then I started seeing that same feeling come into fucking D&D, where anytime I joined a group, it was that same kind of tension and hostility in every group that I went to, where nobody was actually friends and everybody was looking for an excuse to go off on each other. And nobody was actually cooperating with each other. It was always, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and nobody actually roleplayed with each other. Nobody talked to each other in the server. Nobody actually liked each other. You're just people that were playing a game. And that's all it was.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then I started seeing that same conversation go into World of Darkness with Vampire and Werewolf after I started really getting into it. After I got out of D&D because of that reason, I thought to myself, no, I'm not letting this happen. Where this fandom is at least small enough that I can try to get my foot in through the door and stop that change from happening. And I feel like I found people that don't share these sentiments with me. Because on this server, I'm going to say that the general consensus of this, we're not right-wingers in this server, but most people have a very conservative mindset here. And we managed to find some people like this. We managed to find some people saying, hey, I think what you're saying sounds right. I think you have some good things to say. I think you have some good opinions. I've joined this server for 3.5. I joined it for this video you made. I joined it because you talk about Werewolf in a really like detailed way where you're including the entire book. And we started forming a fandom off of that, where there's a lot of people in this server where I feel like I can be open. I can like really say what's on my mind to, like Ezevin, like Denny Rogue, like King of Greed, for example, like Victor, like Dan, where I don't have to like watch what I say in the server. I can actually say what's on my mind, which is something that I cannot do in Dungeons and Dragons anymore.
Yeah, a friend of mine was talking about the chameleon syndrome that our generation tends to suffer because of the hyper focus of words and wording and word choice and semantics online, is the fact that anything you say can be taken out of context and thrown back at you. And it reminds me of that old tweet that's like, man, people will fight about anything on this app. I can say I like pancakes and somebody will reply, so you hate waffles. Bitch, what the fuck? That's a whole other sentence. And it's gotten so, like, everybody's looking for a reason to be upset about something. We really don't. We're those of us on here are very privileged individuals because, like, you know, we have to invent reasons to be upset about things. And a lot of people have taken that to a ridiculous degree where they have to put something in their game that's supposed to be an escapism. That's supposed to be fun. You can be topical in a game. I mean, hell, Werewolf is about, you know, eco-terrorism, environmentalism, you know, the place of spirituality in a modern world, you know, and even more personal stories about, you know, the horrors of war, the manipulation of people around you, the cost of lies. There's a lot that can go into the game, but it doesn't always have to be a one-to-one reflection with every perceived issue that you have about the world. At the end of the game, it's still a game, and you need to make sure that it's fun. Sure, it can be topical. One of my favorite modules that we've gone over was a war in the Amazon because, you know, deforestation in the Amazon is a massive issue. And, you know, to play that and, you know, feel like you're part of something and bring a sense of understanding to it helps sort of level everything out, get everybody on the same page. Not every minute issue needs to be made into a game because, you know, it's hard enough explaining a lot of the things in the historical context of everything that goes on without having to cram a billion other issues that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. We can't just go around hunting dragons. We need to fight the dragons that are already there. And that's what a lot of people forget, is that we can't just go on inventing problems to fight. We need to know
the term you're looking for is author filibuster and author tract, where you stop telling a story and instead you start going on a rant about what your ideology is, and it takes away from the story, is what happens. Where what really pissed me off about Radiant Citadel was reading the first part of it, and it's describing the author's socialist commune manifesto, where there was no police, there was no self-defense system, and everybody ate kimchi tacos for lunch, and it got into like these really like bougie foods, describing it to where you knew exactly what kind of guy wrote that.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, while reading this, what place does this have in a fantasy setting? In D&D especially.
The thing is that it could. If they'd have worded it differently, then it might have made a little bit more sense. But if it was just... You can't, especially in a fantasy setting where it's so easy to get away with a crime, if you don't have anybody that has, you know, zone of truth on you or something like that, or, you know, if they have just a really high deception score or a really high charisma save, you could avoid a zone of truth and do whatever you will. But just the whole idea of just like, oh, there's no police force, there's no war in Bossing Say, get the fuck up out of here.
Where the D&D has been on a steep decline ever since Eberron came out, where Kyle, it's the analogy I'm making here. You remember the movie Shrek and just how good of a movie Shrek was, and how everybody liked Shrek when it came out.
Yes.
And it's like a meme now, so to speak.
But it's still like, if you go back and watch it, it's a good movie.
But Shrek did a lot of things that set a really bad precedent for what the animation will become in the future, where now we have to be very cynical with our storytelling. We gotta lampshade and point out when a trope is going off. We gotta do a parody of something. We can't actually enjoy something as it's being enjoyed. We gotta have an all-star cast with all of our stuff. We gotta be edgy like this. We gotta be weird like this. And it's all this stuff where I'm seeing this in every movie that's coming out now, where you have to be subversive. You have to do this, this, and this. And then we reached an absolute head when Frozen came out, where it was a movie that did all the stuff that Shrek did with no self-awareness. And now we're just being subversive for being subversive and not actually making a point out of being subversive. That's what D&D is going into now with Eberron. Because Eberron came out and it was a setting that was brand new. It wore its Warhammer 40k influence on its sleeve because Warhammer and World of Darkness were kicking D&D's ass in the 90s and early 2000s. And then third edition came out and started saving it. But Eberron was a setting where it was war-torn. It had the Warforged in it. It was after a great war. It was based off of families that controlled the world. Everybody had to live in the city of Sharn. Everything outside that was a wasteland. And it had magic technology where if you were somebody that knew magic, you had power. And then Eberron was not popular at the time, but then more and more writers for D&D started adopting Eberron into their settings, to a point where now Eberron's fingerprints are all over Forgotten Realms, to a point where Forgotten Realms doesn't feel like Forgotten Realms anymore. Because with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, where if your guards are just flying around on magic carpets, and your moneylenders are tied in with the magical CIA, and all this stuff is going on where it seems like every important NPC knows a spell, then it kind of makes magic feel worthless as a setting, and your world doesn't really feel like it's progressing, because why doesn't just the Church of Helm control everything, where I can create food and water, and now I've run every farm out of business because I can just make food, and it's a level 1 cleric spell, and I can teach all my other clerics this spell. And it gets to the point where the setting stops taking itself seriously, and then you get shit like Radiant Citadel and Golden Keys.
So it had a good idea, but it didn't meld with the mechanics of the game, I feel.
You didn't get why the idea existed, is what the issue was. And that's what I felt was going on with fucking 5th edition, where you're getting ideas that you had in Chronicles of Darkness that you're trying to bring into Old World of Darkness when the two don't mix. Which is why I have massive issues with Vampire 5th edition, Hunter 5th edition, Werewolf 5th edition. And I know, like, if they ever release Mage, if they ever get the money for it, if they ever manage themselves right, if it ever actually comes out, it will resemble nothing like Mage the Ascension, what we're talking about now. It will look nothing like
basically.
And we decided to play the most offensive Mage game possible.
I don't even think, like, the Solstice Chorus, the Euthantos, or the Order of Hermes will even appear by name.
Yeah.
Hell no. They're not PC enough. It's, oh my god, it's gonna scare all the Twitter people, edgy wizards.
The reason why they got rid of the Ictina, Wendigo, and Fianna, well, besides Kareem Muabar being, in my opinion, so I don't get liable, in my opinion, Kareem Muabar is a racist. I got them out of there was for that reason, but also the Fianna. And people were pointing out saying, hey, you got rid of Gev Fenris for the same reason of them being very nationalistic, being very based on nationalistic identity, but yet you're keeping the Fianna. And they said, oh, we'll just remove the Fianna too. We don't actually want that, and then they removed the Fianna. Well, I hate to point out, dude, but every tradition in Mage is based in a national identity.
It's like they're like they're allergic to having some sort of patriotism.
So how are you going to write the Akashic Brotherhood without bringing in Asian mysticism? For example.
Yep. They're going to do it really slapshot and talk about how they were like poor and oppressed and shit to make them, sympathetic, I guess.
Exactly. That same kind of pandering writing where it's the same kind of shit where, like, we should probably get into, like, what YouTuber I saw specifically that was talking about these kind of ideas. That would be Werewolf Den, where Kyle, I talked with you and Ryan about these guys before, where that this was the channel that motivated me to make this podcast, where their videos got me legitimately angry, and I said, I came to you, Kyle, saying, Kyle, you've been mentioning me about running a podcast because, well, we've been playing tabletop RPGs, we'll suddenly go into podcast mode and we'll start shooting to shit. How about we actually sit down on Sundays or Mondays and we actually record a podcast? And he said yes, and then Ryan hopped on board, and then here we are today. But Werewolf Den specifically was the channel that got me into this, where I feel like saying, no, you can't just say this shit. Somebody has to push back on you for this. Where are we right now with it? Fucking
really fucking far in.
They have their own guy on the show, Ryan, but Ryan is of Werewolf Den. He's taking a back seat to who's really running the show. It's Amelin, where Amelin is the person that I really have a personal issue with because of where she stands ideologically. They have 32 videos.
She also mean to Ryan also?
She continuously cuts him off in the middle of a sentence and then goes off on a rant. Where it's like like kind of like you said this like before too when we had an episode where you just weren't into it and you were saying you had a thought well, like why am I even here?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like with Ryan on Werewolf Den was like why is Ryan even a part of this when Amelin is just taking over the entire show? Where do you even need a co-host here? Because it sounds like you got this shit under control. Where
Yeah,
Ryan,
I mean, like,
and then the points that Ryan makes don't actually go anywhere. Where looking at their
that's
stuff, by
probably
the
why
way,
she's trying to like talk over that, like, or he just never has the time to get a word in an edgewise over her.
you know who they really remind me of, Kyle?
Who's that?
I Dubs and Anissa.
Oh, Jesus
no.
Christ!
Oh,
That-
God.
Where
Yo.
Amelin and Anissa are the exact same woman in my mind, like down to the way they look and everything, and. The channel, as it stands right now, 373 subscribers, 32 videos, 20,272 views.
Sorry, who's this? Werewolf Den?
Yeah, Werewolf Den is the channel I'm looking at as I speak.
Only 32 videos?
Let's see. Speaking of which, Kyle, how many videos do we have on our channel?
Hang on just a hot sec. I don't have my browser up.
250.
Damn, fuck me. We work hard.
How many subs you got? 730, so more than half.
Jesus Christ, reflexive.
And
We're killing it.
How many views total do we have? 12,787.
Jesus.
Listen on them.
So, I'm gonna say that in terms of like my objective, I feel like I've completed it because Werewolf Den was the initial hurdle that I wanted us to get past, where I wanted to lap them in view count and subscribers and engagement, and so I did, and I was able to get to this point where I feel like Rage Across the Internet like got my goat more, and I have more of a rivalry with that channel. But Werewolf Den, I felt like no, I have to get in your face and I have to shut you up specifically, because Cal, it's not just where the channel was having a very heavily left-leaning ideology, but the shit that they were saying in their videos where. Like, you downplay and deny the importance of womanhood in the Black Furies. In the Bone Arts episode that they made, where Kyle, they were talking about homeless people as in, like, this is an endangered species that you need to protect. And that all homeless people need to be treated with respect, and need to be left alone, and that need to be sympathized. And that Werewolf was offensive as a book for trying to gamify being homeless.
It's not. It's not necessarily being homeless. It's just it's being pushed around by the rest of our society. There are probably still bonars out there who can live kind of decently despite Jackal's curse. And I mean, hell, Cleft in Rage Across Appalachia is proof of that. Sure, he's a shiner and an outlaw, but he still like gets around, does a good job. Ham is also a bonar. He crashes with Arnie. Arnie's got a nice place. He's got a sense of belonging in the pack. Being a bonar does not just mean being homeless. We've been over this.
Yes, but not all of them are homeless either, because you have people like the Hill folk who own homes.
Yes,
exactly. But Kyle, with that whole like homeless people sentiment, would you like to remind everyone where I work, what neighborhood I work in?
Pretty fucking rough spot, let me tell you.
North Tron, Dorada, and University Cities are the places that I service. And do these places have homeless populations? Yes, but are the people that are the homeless people need to be treated with respect the kind of homeless people I'm seeing on the street? Hell fucking no. The people I'm seeing are homeless on the street are people that are walking up to me, tapping on my window, and are asking me for a free soda, for my hat off my head, for the jacket off my back, and for money. And then what are they going to do with that? They then leave it on the side of the fucking road, then walk off and ask someone else for money down the road. And what's this money spent on? Cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, that kind of shit.
Yup.
The people
Fentanyl, meth.
The people that are homeless that actually made mistakes, that are trying to get themselves back on track, you don't see them on the street asking for money. Because these are people that are crashing at people's homes. They're either at jobs, working their asses off, sleeping in their cars, actually doing something besides asking you for money. Or, Kyle, I don't do this anymore because I know what you're going to fucking spend on. You're going to spend it on shit. Where if somebody asks me for money, I say, I'll buy you food, and then they immediately stop asking me for money after I say that. And it's because I know exactly what the fuck you're going to spend this money on. Where, Kyle, I probably shouldn't cite it if I don't remember the name of the documentary, but it was this docu-video I saw off of YouTube. There was this guy that was part of this Christian charity who was young and he's got super hyped up into it. And he was saying, I'm going to go out, I'm going to help the poor, I'm going to help the poor. Where he's saying this to a pastor, and the pastor's saying, look, it's good that you have your heart in the right place. It's good that you want to help people, that's what you want to do with your life. But 80% of the people you go to try to help are going to turn you away and are just going to squander what you give them. Where some people are just, they just need to be left the fuck alone because of who they are as people. And he didn't take the advice seriously. So he goes over and he finds this woman who's homeless. He gets her a car. He helps her find an apartment. He helps her get a job. He gives her all this money, and everything looks like it's going good. And it looks like it's going to be this triumphant story. And then he catches her smoking meth in her car. And you see his enthusiasm fucking shrink. And these are the fucking people I see homeless on the street in North Tryon, where I fucking work.
Yeah,
Where like these aren't people that try to get their lives back in order. These are people that have like fucking given up and are just living in shit like there's all that, like that's all that could be. So no, this is a fucking juvenile idea, thinking that a homeless man is a fountain of wisdom. A homeless man is just going to ask me for fucking money and then spend on crack.
Yeah, it reminds me of something my grandmother would always say, is that the Lord helps he who helps himself. If a person has given up and believes that there is absolutely no hope, then all they're really looking for is the next hit, so they can get to the next hit and the next hit. If they're not looking to like, hey, I'm gonna grab my buddy, I just need to crash on his couch for a couple of days. I'll work the graveyard at 7-Eleven. I'll do whatever I can to get myself back together. That's somebody trying to do what they can to put themselves back on track.
I've got no fucking patience for this shit either, because like it really goes to show to me just how like these people have to like live in like Maine or Vermont or some like left like community away from where these problems are, because of how casually you talk about it. Because it's so obvious in the way they talk about this that they've never had to fucking deal with this shit. Where like there's a period during the pandemic where I was living paycheck to paycheck and I was at the severe risk of fucking losing everything. Where I was having to take on extra shifts and find ways to get extra money in order to bring myself back up. And same thing too with my fucking family, where when it comes to that fucking like getting hits and getting hit shit, like living with an addict. My cousin married a woman who was addicted to Xanax and ruined the marriage because of her fucking Xanax addiction. One of my relatives went fucking crazy, and I've had to put a fucking restraining order against them because of how fucking insane they are. So no, like if somebody is addicted, you don't have to work on getting them fixed, because it's not your fucking responsibility. It's not part of your scope of responsibility. Some acts just need to be left the fuck alone, and you can't save everyone. Some people that are fucking crazy are genuinely fucking crazy and are actual dangers, where the fucking relative I was talking about, where she's like just down the family tree, but she's got part of that restraining order is because she's got a fucking obsession with me that goes fucking into like scary territory, to the point where I feel like I have to dial the police if I see you on the fucking street. Kind of scary.
Jesus.
So it's at that fucking point, and like this, you want to be like consoling, you want to be like caring, but like people saying, oh, you gotta be caring about mental illness. There's like stuff out there like Tourette's or like schizoid personality disorder that can be treated or like very easy. But there's like some people are just like so far disturbed that you really just can't do anything for them. And it hurts me to say that, but I'm saying that because I've been around these people and I know what the fuck this shit looks like. So.
Oh yeah, I know that shit like I know the back of my hand also.
Yeah, like Victor, you've told me about it. I'm not going to bring up your business on the show.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
How can I phrase this? Long story short, my grandparents took my oldest brother in. Long story short, he took hard drugs, like hard hallucinogens, like LSD and peyote. Gave him really bad paranoid schizophrenia, to where he couldn't even work anymore, because he thought that people were thinking about like hurting him really badly.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day when I came back to grandma's house, he trashed the whole house, written down these freaky ass scribbles all over the house. It looked like that scene from the Blair Witch Project with the hands and shit.
Yeah, the end of Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that, but with creepy ass symbols. It was like something straight out of fucking Silent Hill when I went there. Long story short, it ended the relationship between me and my biological mom. And my grandparents didn't took my warning seriously that bro had like 2 guns from freaking grandpa's gun safe or something like that when the cops found him. And long story short, a few months later, my oldest brother assaulted my grandpa, you know. Now he's permanently blind in one eye, and they didn't heed my damn warning. And it's like, yeah, he's a violent schizo. What else I gotta fucking say?
So
You
when
know?
someone like says we gotta treat all people with mental illness like respectfully and gently, I'm saying
Oh,
like
hell
you know what
no.
the fuck you're talking about.
Hell no, bro. Hell no.
You
Yeah.
honestly don't fucking know. And
Yeah, like,
so it was that Bonar video that really put me off with Werewolf Den. But then going
oh,
into
Hannibal Lecter in your house. Sorry.
but
His name
going
is
into
Buffalo
shit
Bill.
like their video on the Fianna, where we're talking about, oh, the Fianna are a shitty tribe because it's all about Ireland, when no, the family unit is what's important to the Fianna, and the history that they keep is what's important to the Fianna, not the Irish identity.
You
that
actually don't have to be Irish to be part of the Fianna.
You
I
don't,
mean-
because there's French members of Fianna.
Yeah.
There's an entire French section. And the Red Talons, where you talked about the Red Talons and you glazed the Red Talons, while neglecting to mention that they're genocidal and what the death of all humanity. And you spent more time talking about the wolf science than the actual tribe. You talked about how the Stargazers were racist as a tribe because they covered all of Asia, where there's no fucking wolves in Asia right now. That's fucking rare to see. I think there's like a group in India and that's it. They said, oh, the Stargazers are racist because they're a Chinese group that started in India. And the book is not being sensitive because it says that all Asian cultures started in India. Well, all Asian cultures did fucking start in India because the fucking Vedics, where India at that time was the most influential people on that in Asia. And every single Asian country today gets their DNA from India because they set the fucking bedrock for this. It's like the same way the Western world was influenced by fucking Rome, and they in part were influenced by Egypt. And they in part were influenced by the Middle East. So, yes, that was the case. And it's okay for the book to say that. And then what really set me the fuck off with Werewolf Den was the Silent Strippers episode, where they said that White Wolf as a company was racist for writing about Egyptians. And that was the point.
No, that's ridiculous.
That was the point.
I mean,
They said that you were not allowed to write about Egypt if you were not Egyptian.
okay, that's bullshit, first of all.
And then they said something to the same effect with the Ten and the Wendigo episodes they made.
Am I only allowed to write about, like, you know, redheaded, you know, half Jewish, half Irish people? Just because I'm, you know, Jewish and Irish? No, I'm going to write whoever the fuck I want.
Where it's the story that comes first. You don't need to be historical experts about this shit, because if the story is entertaining, if the story is good, it's fine. Now, if you're doing something like a minstrel show where you have characters in there who are black and all you have them doing in their show is like eating watermelon and assaulting white women, that's bad. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
But if
Like, for
there's a character in it but if you write a black character and you're white, you're still allowed to write a black character.
For example,
do
like
that.
in Russia, I played Kendi Msimba. And one of the people I was asking in order to play the character more respectfully was a friend of mine who I worked with who is from Tanzania and has, you know, talked to people from Congo, was able to tell me a bit about the culture. So I was able to play the character a bit more respectfully.
And same thing with we haven't started our Miami by Night play yet, but Nozomi Nishiyama. I've been looking up a lot of people from Japan, like movie directors, that are talking with an actual Japanese accent, and I'm trying to get the accent right, so it comes off as authentic. Where I'm not doing, it's not Mr. Kim. Like, who the fuck was like the Japanese character from South Park? So I don't sound like that. Like the sushi
I know
chef they
what you're
fucking killed off
talking
2
about.
episodes in. But that's why I'm looking into this, where I'm going to play a character who's Japanese because I actually really do like Japanese culture. I do have some stuff about that I disagree with, but I like it as a whole. I'm playing it Into the Road because I think the Wendigo were a really cool idea, and it got me to look up the First Nations and start doing more research about the indigenous people of Canada. So, yes, there's something good to write about that, where you are allowed to write about the Native American tribes, because, I don't know, maybe having this in there will get somebody interested in looking up more about the Native American peoples and actually learning about this history and becoming aware of issues where there's a shitload of missing people in America and Canada who are Native American that the governments aren't doing anything about. And that's an actual issue that needs to be brought the fuck up. But If you want to say, oh, you can't write about this because you're not from this people,
Exactly.
like how about like
Ridiculous.
fuck you as a person, like in all seriousness.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
It
being
is-
able to research all the different, being able to research different cultures in order to play them effectively is how you learn. Is part of how you can learn about cultures. Aside, and you can, if you're really not sure, you find somebody who's from that culture and you ask them, "Hey, I was thinking about writing this. What do you think?" More than likely, they'd be, thrilled that you're interested and want to tell you about it.
I'm not even getting to the
Fuck,
parts where
yeah.
That an episode about the Black Sparrow dancers, and it just completely misrepresented the Black Sparrow dancers, saying, "Oh, like your wormish corruption can be cured with the BSCs." No, it can't. No, it can't.
The only
Cap.
way, the only way that you can, the only way that you can not be that can be cured of corruption is not get corrupted. Like the right of
It's a devil deal where you sell your soul, and then once that contract is signed, it's done.
that's the whole
can't
that was
go
the
anywhere
whole
from
hook with Trish is that the reason she is still alive is because she did not dance.
And they brought up the idea of other tribes falling, where instead of, I don't know, talking about the wicked stepmothers, which are the actual fallen Black Fury sect, they instead split up this entirely hypothetical, trans-exclusive, radical feminist Black Furies that don't exist in any book whatsoever.
Wait, who came up with this?
Amelin,
What?
the fuck?
Bruh.
you made up a fucking boogeyman that doesn't exist in the fucking text.
It's just painful.
God.
And
Legitimate monitors.
And like, I'm not even like sharing like the thumbnail for this. Like, Kyle, let's look at this.
Okay, hang on. Should I put this up?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
What? The
Oh, God,
fuck?
this
Change
shit.
the.
All right, so two middle
God
fingers up for this.
Fucking damn it!
Uh,
All right, everybody, just brace yourselves.
That's
Yep.
I didn't make a video link. That's just me taking a screenshot because I'm not clicking share link on that. I'm not playing any sort of fucking knife in that shit.
Man,
But
I will
but-
say though, it
but-
was funny when I decided to like throw a little bit of World of Darkness into my D&D because in my Storm King's Thunder I'm playing a shifter, and so I decided to write like just as a calling card, leave the glyph like on part of the scorched ground, just to let you know, hey Garo, we're here. And, I showed it to my friends at the table, like, bro, that Loki looks like a swastika. I had to laugh about that.
that's only because Nazis are a big topical issue right now.
Yeah.
But we've gone over this before, that the glyph of the Geth
Yep.
Fenris is the lupus symbol placed over itself. That's what it is. Where
Several times
it's
we've
a-
said it is.
It's a metaphor saying that for every one Geth Fenris, it makes up the might of two wolves.
Exactly.
That's what that means. And if everybody's saying that's a swastika, you're fucking projecting. That's all you are. You're just fucking projecting. You're trying to make the Geth Fenris into something that's not.
They
And you
see
don't
swastikas in everything they see in real life.
exactly. If you're going out trying to find something that's racist, trying to look for racism, you're going to find racism everywhere. And what gets me too is that one out saying, "I've been running a LARP for 20 years. I've been running live action roleplay for 20 years." Well, all I think from them saying is that how many people did you steer away from Wrath of the Apocalypse because of that? How many people have you ruined the impression of this game of because of that?
Yeah. I mean,
and how have you been running this LARP for 20 years, and you're this wrong about the information in it?
because
this is-
they wanted to be right more than they wanted to be correct.
Yeah, you're not. You don't actually like Werewolf of the Apocalypse. This is what I'm accusing you of. You don't actually like Werewolf as an IP. You're using this as a vehicle to spread your own ideology, and this is what we meant with that rant we did at the beginning of the video. You don't actually like the game you're playing. You're using it as a vehicle to push your own ideas.
If you want that, just be a fucking bread tuber and cut the bullshit.
That's all you gotta do. Except there's no money in it anymore because fucking Xander Hall went under, and Rebecca Wu cleaned herself up and became a right winger.
I don't know why, but you know what they say: he who stares into the abyss stares back.
Yes.
That is
You can-
exactly what the fuck.
You can work with
became the
Hassan
most
Piker for a
intimidated.
month until Hassan stabs you in the back.
Yeah. Man, fuck Hassan. He's left wing, right wing. All grifters must die. Fuck grifters. Behead grifters. Hit grifters with a rock. They suck, and I hate them.
All right, but before I go off into the other channel that I have a big rivalry with, let's do some positivity. Let's be
Yes.
positive about
Yes.
some channels. Let's talk about some big channels. You want to talk about Lord by Night?
Yes. Let's talk about Lord by Night.
All right, so I have no issue with this guy. I have no beef with this guy. I have no issue with this guy. Where apparently, I think it was Greed who informed me of this, or it might have been you, Victor, that the Lore by Night audience does not like us.
Why do they
And
not?
because we make it no secret where we
Oh.
stand politically.
Because politics, ideology.
why.
They're
My political ideology is I hate politics.
Where it's the same kind of thing.
You're the
where,
enemy from their perspective. You're the enemy.
Where I'm not going
Oh
to say
my
that this
God.
is the case going on with Lore by Night, but with a channel like that and with an audience like that, you've got to look out for your audience when it gets to that. Because if you say the wrong thing in your video, that entire
You're gonna
audience
eat
is
him
going to turn on you
alive.
overnight.
We're gonna eat him
Yo.
alive if he says one thing wrong.
You saw that happen with Lindsay Ellis, Kyle.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that
did.
happened.
That was honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Even though like I watched, a handful of her videos back when I started watching her, and I saw that, and I was like, that is just fucking dastardly. Who the fuck does that?
You play into an audience that's known for not having any unity. You're going to get backstabbed someday. But
Exactly.
besides that, I think Lore by Night's content is really good. Where the Lore by Night podcast itself, that and Matthew Dawkins is what got me into Vampire the Masquerade. Where much knows
Hell
where
yeah.
that honestly, like I gotta thank this guy in all honesty for getting me into this. Where he had really good production values. He had a really good microphone, and I swear this guy had a different show before. Where if you've, I swear I don't know if he is, but there was this video I saw like years ago that was called like the top 13 Lovecraftian bosses in video games, and I swear it's the same voice. I swear it is. But I don't have any way of proving that. But he does all of his stuff in character, and kind of because of that, I approached you when we were first starting the show, and you and Ryan, I said, should we do the show in character? Where should I be Stirs the Pot, you be Tyler, and then Ryan's Grim for the entire show? But we said no to that because we wanted to come off as more authentic. We wanted to tell like it was. We didn't want to have the character get in the way of the information.
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
is
we'll
what-
do bits every now and again, but that's more so just
Yep.
like for fun.
Yeah, we're doing this as
Oh,
jokes
yeah.
where you can tell when we're doing that too, because we'll start talking in voices we don't actually mean what we say in the character voice.
No.
For an
not a-
example, I like to casually commit egging on the I'm not going to say the word, but it's those men in black, you know. They talk about reality deviancy. What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, a bit like that. And,
Exactly like that.
and I'd have to give this guy props for doing Wraith the Oblivion videos, even though those videos got shit views in comparison to his other content. Where
Rate's a hard
Yo-
game to sell. Let's be real.
where it like I could
It's a
tell
good
that this
one,
guy like gave a shit about Wraith when he made those. And same thing with Demon of Fallen, where even though there's very little stuff to talk about with Demon of Fallen, he still made entertaining content. Where the content he makes, it's good what he talks about, and he's not fully on board with Paradox Interactive, where he's critical about stuff in 5th edition, where Vampire 5e has problems, Hunter has problems, and this guy was just out and out shitting on real 5th edition when it came out. And that felt good. We're seeing, because out of all the channels, Lore by Night is the guy who's leading the pack. I'm going to say this is the current face of World Darkness YouTube, where Lore by Night is the guy that people are going to for World Darkness content. And it felt good seeing that the guy who was on top of the ladder felt the same way about Werewolf as I did. Where it felt like, okay, I'm not in the wrong for thinking this is a big crock of shit. Where even Werewolf 5e, which is super ideologically left-leaning, was still a crock of shit. Because people were able to see past the message and look at this game and say, I don't see how I can have fun with this. I don't see how anybody can do anything with this.
Most of the time,
And-
the writing in Fee 5 isn't good writing to make a good story. They're writing to prove something.
It is where it's Justin Keeley, where he's self-inserting and like projecting so hard on the anarchs, where he just wants them to fit with his like bread tube ideology. Where I don't know like when the fuck that guy lost his touch. Like there's losing your touch, and there's just whatever fucking happened to it, Justin Keeley. But
You're out of touch.
yeah,
I'm
it's
out of touch.
exactly this is what happens. This is what happens when you spend every fucking day on Twitter and forget what it's like to touch grass, and then you write a book about that, and it's a paid product.
Dementation 5 be like.
But even then, and then same time he goes into looking at books where, like, it's Future World Darkness was the video that he made where I didn't even know that was a thing until I stumbled on it on accident while looking around on Wikia. I wasn't even on the right Wikia. I was on Cyberpunk's Wikia, and I clicked a link saying, "Hey, that picture looks like it's drawn by Jeff Rebner," and then it was. And then it turns out there was a whole crossover between Cyberpunk 2020 and Vampire the Masquerade that I didn't know about. And then somebody made a video about it. Cool. But I am worried because this guy's been making videos for about 5 years by this point, and I'm starting to worry that he might be running out of ideas because Kyle, his most recent video was about Fallout, the TTRPG.
Well, I mean, like, we
And-
can't just be one thing.
Like, it's going to be a variety channel, and we've always established from the get-go that we're going to be a variety channel. We're not just going to talk about Werewolf or World Darkness and that's it. Where
Yeah.
we'll occasionally bring up Dungeons and Dragons, and later down the line, we're going to get into Cyberpunk 2020 because Kyle doesn't want to get into Warhammer.
I'm sorry.
Shame on you. But
I'm
by
not
the time
sorry,
that
but I'm
too-
going to say I'm sorry.
Fight.
By the
Fight.
time that Kyle, Warhammer is already really, really saturated in terms of YouTubers, where we're just going to be a drop in the bucket.
Oh, thank God for the rest of
it's like-
Warhammer being oversaturated. Oh, you guys
So
saved my ass. Fuck.
Where I would like to talk about the books, but because the thing I like about Warhammer the most is the books. But Cyberpunk 2020 and Red are two books that I really want to get into at some point. We're going to get into that around, I'm going to say December 2025 is when we're going to start getting into that. Where I would love to take you through the whole journey of this book because, Kyle, there's so much stuff in Cyberpunk 2020 that I swear you're going to get behind and you're going to love. But I am worried that because a lot of his videos lately have been like BuzzFeedy-ish, where like expression and my fear of failure in TTRPG roleplay, where it's cool you're being honest with yourself, but when you do the video like that, like once in a while, but then like a whole bunch of other videos start being like this, like I blew 110 pounds to Master Mage, those kind of videos where
Yeah.
like I liked your content before. Are you going down a direction that I'm starting to lose you on, dude? I hope you don't go in this direction. I really like your channel. I don't want to not like it. Well, then again, it's your own channel at the same time, man. Like, upload like whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Because you still make good content at the end of the day. You don't say anything stupid. But at no point am I ever going to like see myself getting eye-to-eye
at that point, like if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, and then
Well, I like him at the distance I have him at because I'm never going to get along with this guy, and there's two words as to why. But would you like to guess those two words, Kyle?
I know what it is.
British leftist.
Yeah.
That's why we're like I appreciate what you do for Vampire, but please let's never DM each other because I know we're immediately going to start fighting.
Wow, my country fucking sucks me when a stupid European voices one of their stupid opinions about America.
Also, Kyle, he posted something not too long ago that I thought was fucking hilarious.
Oh dear God.
Here it is in studio notes.
Oh my
Is that? I'm sorry. That is the fun. Not trying to throw shade. That is the funniest fucking.
The red talons aren't just genocidal; they're just retarded. That's it.
Don't let Radford hear you say that. I'll kick the shit out of you. Oh, I'm playing as a red talon will help you be a better role player.
I don't think this was the best call to make that video in particular.
Oh. Oh,
hey,
my dear
what
God,
the fuck? Like, okay. The only defense I will say is I was a little misanthropic as a kid, but this is too far.
Yeah, this is rough, dog.
Like, okay. Like, I will say a red talon is a misanthropist
character, yeah.
A misanthropist wet dream. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
good
I
Lord.
think they're gooning on the Red Talons a little too much.
Oh, but
then-
the red talons are interesting because, like, Johnny did that whole video. It's like it's a whole other
Yep.
mindset to try and be a wolf.
Yeah, you gotta credit. It's
Yep.
an alien mindset you gotta get into.
It is, and hats off to Rap Red. He does a phenomenal job playing Autumn Leaves.
Hell yeah. Oh man, he's gonna be in a loop when I play
Yeah,
my character.
he's everyone's favorite character on the live play too.
Yeah,
For good reason. He's a very
And
well-rounded
the votes
character.
for Trish did not count. That Greed derailed the whole.
You
poll
are
by
still
bringing Trish in.
salty about that, dog.
She's like Jade Cargill. She doesn't do anything, and yet she gets all the attention.
That's real.
Bro, Trish is basically Johnny's rage bait.
It really
falling
is, but
for
the whole. Well, I mean, I just thought the idea of a somebody who was born a spiral but never forced to dance.
Yeah.
I just found that inherently interesting, and I wanted to put it in the game because if you do keep her well, and I do need to actually like change her stats to level her properly, but like if you do keep her for the whole game, that'll really help you out. I'm saying that right now.
And then 3HP was in my DMs, like sending me a few names from World Darkness YouTubers. Delirium V is one that you sent me.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Now a fan. Now a fan.
Oh, why?
AI is the reason why. Where
Really?
it sounds hypocritical for me to say that because we use AI in some of our thumbnails. We use them for our characters, but when the entire video is AI images and AI voice, I'm sorry, but
Does he
you're
use
not
like
a
the
channel.
robot voice?
Like you're not a channel. You're a content farm. You're a content farm. Now, I don't
But
care
the
how
writing,
the script
bro.
is. I don't care how good the music is in the background. But if there's no actual human involvement with the project, then I'm sorry, but I can't co-sign you. I'm not going to stand behind this. So
Well, from my point of view, Trillium, you're doing good work. Keep doing it.
yeah, because but at the same
Yeah.
time, like Lore by Night made a video saying that World Darkness had an AI problem, and Delirium V was obviously the subject of the video. it was
just
so
mad. He's
it-
just
it-
mad he got more views than him. That's
it,
why.
like more views, more subs. Where like fuck you, like 22,000 subs, 69 videos, and 1,766,883 views, and there's no human involvement in any of it. Where
I don't. We may be different, but I have no problem with that. I like hearing fucking.
yeah, like some people who like
Paul
AI are going to like
Vegas,
AI, and some
Joshua-
people who don't won't.
I think that's the difference, a huge difference. But
Yeah.
from my point of view, hearing Joshua Graham from Fallout New Vegas talking about being a hunter in World of Darkness, that shit slaps, bro.
Where it is a good voice, but I hear the AI voice pronounced Solot as Solo, and my hands want to reach through the screen and strangle the AI voice.
Oh, don't worry about that as well, because, bro, we are in the new gen of AI voice now.
We can't
That-
expect
that-
God to do all the work.
Yeah. Like that.
The only thing-
he says it as well.
The only
And
thing
he
I
says
really
about, like,
detest
meat,
about
piece of Sombra.
Yeah, the only thing I detest about AI is that it fucks up all of my creative pursuits.
Where, for me, the reason I only ever use this when it comes to tabletop RPGs as a means of just keeping my thoughts on track. Where I'm saying, I wrote out the entirety of what I was going to do for Mage 1936, and I fed it to GPT, and I said, keep track of where I am in terms of progress in the story. And that's all I'm using it for. That's
it.
That's pretty cool.
What I did for Appalachia is before the game even started, I wrote out a concept of what I wanted the game to do and where I wanted it to go. And then I realized that none of that shit's actually happening. And so I decided the only way I'm going to get this game to actually run is if I plan session by session. That was the only way I could do it, and the only way I could keep it on track.
Next YouTuber, the Ash Spawn is the next one.
Never heard of him.
Hey, he's pretty solid in my mind. I like him.
And I'm putting him here because he's in the same category and same format as Lord by Night, where if you're looking at influences, to me he feels very influenced by Lord by Night, and I don't think I don't think he started with World of Darkness. I think he started with D&D because he switches back and forth between. He's a variety channel too because he's got D&D videos, he's got World of Darkness videos. He's not necessarily a D&D YouTuber. It's more like tabletop RPGs as a whole. And he started off with, I think, Century Age of Ashes, where literally, who is this game? I've never heard of this game before in my life.
Is that one of his first videos, or what is that?
That's his first videos from 3 years ago.
Oh well, I mean, it's your first video. You can't expect it to knock it out of the park.
But he got views on them. He got his first video. It's got 92. It's got 9.2 thousand views on it.
Damn.
Hey, not bad.
So apparently this game took off. I think what was this? It's like either like a gacha game, like a mobile game, or some sort of game. I don't know, but he did well on that, and then started making D&D lore videos where, you look at D&D YouTube, like Mr. Rex is a YouTuber he's very similar to, and for what he does, it's good. The only connection I have with it is that he does his videos in character, and some of the information comes off as opinionated instead of factual sometimes. Because I was listening to the Pharaoh video and I'm saying, I know the right answer, say the answer, quit doing this.
So it's just a little frustrating when you play the character who isn't supposed to know.
Like when I run a show and then I know what you want to say and I know what the actual thing is, and then you don't say it, it irks me. But that's just me. That's just me. Like he doesn't have to change his content or anything about that. And that's what the comment section is for.
I love his video on the Malkavians and when he's in character. I think he's adventuring as his character, and he's like, this bastard went into my cellar and took all of my wine. Oh, I would have killed him, but he's too valuable.
And the way he talks, I just discovered him recently, so I don't fully know the character. I'm guessing he's Ventrue.
Yeah. Like I'm assuming it's been a fat minute since I watched his videos, but that's what I'm assuming.
And he also does videos about Trench Crusade, which is my favorite grift. Not him, but like Trench Crusade itself.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
I know that term has kind of been distilled and boiled down to somebody I don't like is making money, but let's be real with ourselves. Trench Crusade was made to poach off of the 40K audience, and that's why it exists. That's the only reason why that game exists. Like even like the people that made it, even though it's a very Christian themed game, like denied the divinity of God and Jesus Christ and claimed that they're not real.
Bruh.
Yeah, so what the fuck is this?
That's a little rude.
Like what the fuck is this besides just like a really cynical product you made to copy 40K and just make money? Besides that, it's the same. It's like AEW, where all Elite Wrestling was made to go to competition with WWE, and then AEW has just dropped off. Where it still has an audience, but it's attracted the kind of audience that's just unpleasable. And meanwhile, WWE is still going on strong, and always will be going on strong.
Yeah, it's an infinite money generator for Steve McMahon.
Infinite money glitch.
That's what it is. Yeah, you just have to abuse a couple of people's human rights, and you'll be fine.
Like Paul Levesque and Dwayne Johnson are going to war with each other over that company now.
Oh,
the two of them hate each other, and it's because Triple H was shitting on The Rock during his early career, and now Dwayne The Rock Johnson has, I forget what the term is called, but basically his entire fucking family works for WWE now. So
you're a boy in a man's world.
No.
Who's next? Another YouTuber that really got me into World of Darkness was the Gentleman Gamer, aka Matthew Dawkins.
Yep.
Where I'll mention him. He's going to get his own bit later in the video, but Porter from Rage Across the Internet had this whole rant in the middle of one of his videos saying, I was carrying this game on my back ever since World of Darkness and White Wolf collapsed in 2004, and I was the one pushing the Phantom on. No, you fucking weren't. Nobody knew who the fuck you were. You know who was carrying the Phantom on their back? Matthew Dawkins. Where, sure, from I've had conversations with Aaron Jenner, what I've heard about the guy is that he's a little bit egotistical, a little bit controlling, but you know what? So am I, in all honesty. So, this guy was propping up World of Darkness on YouTube, on just making videos where it's just him in front of a camera, where he wasn't worried about his skin and complexion being dirty as shit in these videos. He didn't care if he was stumbling over his lines. Where it was really impressive that he was doing as well as he was in one take. That he wasn't stammering or getting in thought loops or repeating himself in one take. Where if it was scripted, and cool, but if it was unscripted, it's genuinely impressive if it was. And what did he for his hard work, Kyle? This man is working for Oxpath now.
Really?
Because of these videos. Yes.
Oh, damn.
This was his resume, basically, what he was making.
Hey, I mean, it worked for him, so, hats off there.
Where he made these videos where he started off with the Crown Raphnos, and that video has 41,000 views now, and they went off to Malkavian and Cappadocian, where he was doing the whole thing in character where he's this Malkavian anti-tribu. And he was describing all these things in character where I've got like mixed responses too, because I showed these videos to Sean and Sean hated them. But I honestly think that
I liked them. I really liked them.
I honestly feel like the stuff he's saying, that's World of Darkness. That gets you into World of Darkness. If there was a guy that understood this game, it was him.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there's like in some of these videos he's got like a little picture hanging on his bookshelf behind him. And it was one of the artists for Vampire the Masquerade who drew a picture of him in his style that he did for Vampire. And it's in the background.
That's super cool. I like that.
I guess he just came across him at a convention and just managed to get that artwork, get that slot filled. And,
hell yeah.
And he did videos on Vampire and he did videos on Werewolf, and this is the guy that got me into Werewolf. This is the guy. And he's covering Werewolf from a pin text perspective, Kyle.
Oh yeah, he did like the Subsidiaries Guide to Pentext, didn't he?
No, he did. He worked on Beckett's Jihad Diary. I know that.
Okay.
But he was talking.
Yeah.
But he was talking about these guys from an appendix point of view, and he's talking to you like you're a member of a first team who's about to hunt the werewolf, and that sold me. Like you got me into Werewolf now. Thank you for making these videos. And the Galliard's Guide to Werewolf. Like Sam Hyde was talking on Fish Tank saying, the more you watch a comedian, the more you watch something, the more the DNA of what you're watching will bleed into what you've got. I will make it no secret that he's influenced this show, where the Galliard's Guide to Werewolf was inspired by Matthew Dawkins. So
yep,
I really do like this guy's stuff. I really do like his channel. I really don't have anything bad to say about him. Besides, like, I can nitpick him, but I honestly feel like those nitpicks are pointless, where it's not going to really go anywhere. It's not that big of a deal. And sure, he's working for Oxpath now, where I can't expect like one man to take control of Oxpath and take Werewolf down the direction that I think it should, because you're into a corporate entity that's like passed around however many times, where you have to talk to a boss, and that boss starts to know the boss, that the boss starts to know the boss, to ultimately change it to Hasbro, where I know like you can't do everything, and that you're not like the hero everybody like thinks you are, but that's like an idea that's like being like projected onto you, and I'm probably talking my ass by this point.
No, I get where you're coming from. You're thinking about all the nuanced gears within the machine.
And he's making videos about Curseborn only because it's his job too.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, dude, but nobody's gonna buy that shit. Nobody's gonna play that shit. Nobody's gonna touch that shit. You've got like 1,800 people watched your video about Curseborn. Only 10% of that number will buy the game, and that's it. That's always gonna happen, because that's the thing with merch, where and whenever you make merch, only 1% of your fans will actually buy the merch, and even then, you have to be careful about your pricing.
I mean, I'm going to release the book, and who knows how many people hear about it.
Yeah. Well,
spoiler alert, I'm going to buy 2 copies.
You don't
one for
have
me
to
and one to
talk.
give to another.
It matters
Okay.
more that you dedicate yourself, your time, and your money to making something, and you did it.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah. And space furries sound like fun. Sorry to interrupt.
you making that book, Kyle, is why I'm so happy to be friends with somebody like you. Because you're a guy that will dedicate yourself to doing something, and you will do it.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time, just doing what's expected of me. Like, pretty much my whole fucking life. Nobody expected me to actually sit down and write a book, and then I wrote a whole ass book, and now it's actually going to be on Amazon. And that's something to be proud of. And nobody expected me to jump up on stage with a guitar and start screaming at an audience. I did that shit too.
And we're all going out and we're doing stuff, and that's what matters. So honestly, I got nothing bad to say about the Gentleman Gamer, where he might be like corporatized by this point, but you know what? The content by itself in a bubble is still alright. It's still good. And meanwhile, content creator whose content has gone down the fucking toilet is fucking Outstar, where
I don't think I know that fella.
I'm not happy saying that. I didn't want to say that about Outstar, but she made a whole bunch of videos about Vampire the Masquerade, and then fucking Paradox Interactive found her, and now has her on payroll to make content for Paradox, and that content is significantly worse now. Where you had this video where she had an interview with Justin Keeley, where I feel like that it didn't. It's not really an accomplishment when you're already working for Paradox, and like and then you interview Paradox's staff. Well, this was going to happen already, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where, and then you just let Justin say whatever the fuck he wanted with no pushback or questioning whatsoever. And that video alone, where I'm sorry, I really did like your vampire videos, but I'm just not ever going to forgive you for that. And same thing too, where you brought on like other fucking Paradox and developers, and the two guys looked exactly like I thought they were going to look like.
Oh boy.
Where Kyle, like the no hair on your head, all the hair on your face, thick frame glasses, black sweater look.
Oh, that's just funny.
Yeah,
The millennial hipster.
That phenotype.
That reminds me of that one. That reminds me of that one article that's like, you know, hipster sues publication for using his likeness, realizes it isn't him.
Oh yeah, I've saw that too. Oh my god,
that kind of dude.
Oh my god.
Let's see, Lazarov Stygia. Let's bring this guy up.
Yes, this Giga Chad. He got me into Mage.
Now his information, it is actual, it is factual, it is all accurate. This guy says nothing incorrect. Where if this guy has made a mistake, I have not noticed it. And he goes into everything. He went into Old World. He went into Chronicles. He made fucking Exalted videos. Like, who the fuck asked him to make Exalted videos?
Yeah,
he's got
even
this.
Quaijin.
Like, he's the only guy I know that has made a Midnight Circus video. Kyle, we're going to get around to do that eventually, but we got to cover the other spots first. So we actually need to understand what's in Midnight Circus before we talk about what's in Midnight Circus.
Yes.
I know my buddy Johan watched that video and he was like, "Oh my god, I want to play Midnight Circus someday." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What is this crap?" And
that
like,
entire
it's awesome.
game, Kyle, if you remember the movie Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Actually, I don't think I watched that movie.
I remember watching that.
That in game form. That's what it is. And
freaking insane.
And a lot of stuff where one of my favorite parts of Ravenloft was the circus in Ravenloft. The Wandering Circus, where the people that made the Witchlight Carnival traded off the Carnival of Fears, and they traded companies, and it's run by an archfey that owns like this dark gothic circus from Ravenloft, from the Shadowfell. But there's a whole unity amongst the performers where they're all people that have nowhere to go, and the circus finds them and brings them in. And it was a really cool idea in Ravenloft. And then the Midnight Circus comes in and flips on its head because the Ringmaster is one of the most evil pieces of shit in World of Darkness. Where Kyle, this guy is on Tremere levels of piece of shit.
Oh.
And
wow.
When we get around to that book, I would love to do a Midnight Circus episode, but we have to talk about the Quaijin before we can talk about Midnight Circus first.
Indeed. We actually haven't done a Quaijin episode, I realize. What the hell?
And there's a reason why we haven't talked about the Quaijin yet, because the Quaijin are fucking hard to talk about.
I mean, we've been doing this shit for 2 years. I think we can figure it out. Unless
we're going to get around to doing it first, but we got some stuff with Werewolf, Vampire, and Demon the Fallen we got to do first.
Indeed. We just introduced Demon the Fallen, so now we got to do all that shit.
That video did pretty good for our channel standards, and we're going to make more Demon content.
Yeah. All right.
And there's only one issue with Lazarov Stygia, and that he hasn't uploaded in a year. Where is he?
Well,
hey, perfection takes time.
Quality over quantity, you know what I mean?
The quality, his last video was on Sam Hate.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yes,
Shit, that too.
talking about the dumbest story ever told.
In support of or against?
Objectively, just objectively telling the story.
I mean, at least that's something. It's better than, World of Darkness polishing his unit,
Where he makes really good content. The only issue is that, the only criticism I have with this content is that it can get a little dry at times. Where
Yeah.
I don't know, it's whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing to say, but I've fallen asleep while watching his videos before.
No. I think my favorite video, this comes at no surprise, but him talking about the technocratic union, that's
Yes.
what got me into the technocracy. I was like, oh my God, this shit's actually interesting.
And
I don't know,
it
it's
is.
boring, but it's interesting.
And his top 10 videos too, where he's going into lore characters, that this is the part of the books that I usually skip over, but his video on the Toreador specifically, he started off with Helena, and him drawing attention to Helena is what led me to going out and finding Helena in lore, and then I found about Tyler, and then I found about Hardstadt, and then it brought attention to the key players to World Darkness that I otherwise would have never read because I don't touch that section of the book.
Oh.
So good. This guy's actually doing really good work with World Darkness. But just where the fuck you at, dude?
He's taking
Where
his
are
time.
you? You gotta make a fucking video, dude.
Let bro cook. Let bro cook.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna leave the restaurant if my food doesn't come soon.
Let bro cook.
Oh, come on, be nice. He might have kids. He might be busy.
It probably, the Maple Table, who's we'll talk about next. Where the reason he stopped on is because he's got kids now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a legitimate excuse. So.
Where the Maple
Yeah.
Table has his own format where he's not similar to any other YouTuber out there. Where it's him in front of a camera. Where it's this Philip DeFranco kind of style where he's very punchy, he's very fast, he doesn't ramble. If he says or he cuts it out of the video. It's jump cut, where it's moving at one constant speed that keeps your attention. And I really wish he made longer content though, where I wish his videos were longer, because Who Are the True Bruja introduces you to the idea of the True Bruja, but what if I want to learn more about the True Bruja? When I go find the fucking book and then try to find out more about the True Bruja. So he's really good when it comes to introducing ideas to World Darkness, but part of the Maple Table too is that why our videos are so MF long is because I feel like they need to be in order to get all the information that I feel like needs to be known and is worth sharing out in one video. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Where that's part of it. But along with it too, he covers a lot of topics that I feel like if we covered it, it would not be long enough for a video. Like Tamara Tavarovich. That's not enough content for us to make a video on at all. Not at all. But in 10 minutes, you can summarize who she is, and then boom, that's your video done.
Yeah, it'd be a good, mini mood or something like that, I guess.
That's what you gotta do, where we go over every individual Surfang house and all the key players in it.
Jesus. That just sounds painful. I'm going to be keeping it a buck.
It's stuff that's very clinical, so it's something that I try doing with this channel too, where before we cover a topic, I'll look up other videos on a topic, and if somebody is saying something that I was going to say in a video, I will not do the video. I will not schedule that video until I think of something unique to say in my video first. Because why watch what I'm going to say about a vampire clan if there's another video out there that's edited and punchier that's going to do what we do better? Where we don't... I'm allergic to editing. I don't want to edit these videos. Kyle doesn't want to edit these videos. Ryan doesn't want to edit these videos. We just want to say what we're going to say and then get the video out while our thoughts are still here. And Kyle, how long would our days be if we sat down and edited everything we said?
Oh my God, dude, this would be a full-time job. I would demand payment regardless if I had to edit all this shit, dog.
It would be, and especially if we're trying to monetize it too, where we have to censor out everything we say that's a cuss word or a non-kosher topic.
I swear like a fucking sailor, there's no way I would have time for all that shit.
Absolutely not,
Same.
no.
I mean, the entirety of Mage 1936 is non-kosher, no pun
Exactly.
intended.
Which is the reason why I have no interest in being monetized, because I don't want money to dictate what content we make on the show.
Exactly.
That's one of the many, many reasons.
And I actually really like... Oh, no. This is going to be somebody's gonna twist my words when I say this, but I really like the disturbing themes of the game that we're playing.
Yes.
It's World
It's a
of
dark
Darkness.
fantasy game. Yeah,
Exactly.
We're in Europe during its darkest period of history.
exactly. We're playing
Exactly.
mage. One of us just got turned into a robot. The other had his arm cut, had all of his limbs except for one cut off.
And
It's
the other one is
rough.
stuck between life and death.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
rough. It's
And-
fucked up.
And the other's being hunted by what we can only assume is a sun god demon.
Yeah, that's true as well.
It's freaking terrifying,
And
bro.
he's a happy
And the-
dappy son of a bitch.
Yeah, and the worst part is all these characters, well, specifically two, are butting heads with each other and might kill each other.
It's not great.
Yeah.
So
And we
I-
know why as well.
So the Maple Table's a good channel. It's good, worth checking out. Meanwhile, let's talk about the channel that's very similar to it that was the leader of the pack for a while and then fucking threw it all away, and I don't understand why. The Primogen. Where
Oh,
Yeah, that
that-
guy.
now I did like his content. I did not like it when it got political. Where George Floyd happened while he was recording content, and it was like a BLM sticker in the corner. Where
God,
there's
that was
nothing,
so
there's
obnoxious.
nothing wrong with the initial idea behind BLM, but finding out what that was in practice, where the founders are saying, "Oh no, we cannot have racial equality until I own a fifth home with the money you've donated me for racial equality." Where
Oh,
it
wait,
turns out
was
it's
this
just one.
Sean
Bro.
King?
I think so. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that dude.
And how this entire movement has now become a grift based off a pack of lies.
Yep.
Where-
Yeah, it's not great.
And along with it too,
Mhm.
where the dude will have some cold takes in his videos. Where Demon of Fallen, where he talks about how Demon of Fallen is racist because it doesn't bring up Africa. Where
What?
Based off
Th-
Christian
that's something
theology.
dead ass he said that. Dead ass he said it in a Demon of Fallen video.
Bruh. Freaking dumb.
It's the very last one he has in his playlist. He's got like a playlist of like 8 Demon of Fallen videos. It's in the last one.
Ah.
And
Yeah, he's been ideologically captured, that's for sure.
where it feels like you've bitten down on the blue pill and it's invaded your content. And I'm sorry, but I can't co-sign what you make. Where you
Yep.
and now his production values are good but simple, because I can tell he's a Mac user, where I can tell this is stuff made in iMovie because I've made videos that are almost identical to this in iMovie. It's very easy to do. It's just you just take screenshots from the book, you then paste it over, you put your little avatar in the corner sometimes, and then you just read off the facts, and then that's it. That's all you gotta do.
Yep.
So it's very easy for him to make content, and I can't imagine he spends too much time editing these videos either, because whenever I make a short video like the Mad Mage video we uploaded not too long ago, I spent about, say, an hour piecing it together, where I recorded my lines for however long, and then I spent just as much time editing the video together and then upload it. So if I want to do a really long form video, it's 2 hours of me recording and then 2 hours of me editing, and that's something I really don't want to fucking do.
Yeah.
So, and his videos, like when he gets in the character, it's really entertaining, because his Shallard video at the beginning he did in character, his Wraith video at the beginning he did in character, his Tremere video where he plays as himself as a Tremere, and it was actually really entertaining because he had this whole like ASMR quality to his voice, where I'll find myself going back to that video just to watch the first minute of it again, and just doing that.
Hey, not bad.
And then his Venture video where he got the guy that ran the New York by Night live play, where the man's name is escaping me.
B Dave?
Shit.
Talking
Shit.
the player for Everything Else.
I don't remember it now. Fuck. Oh, but he got him to do his Venture character in character for the introduction, and it was perfectly Venture.
I know what
I
you're
kind
talking
of want to
about,
watch
yeah.
this now, actually.
And then he made his how to play a clan videos, where I watched the video and said, hey, that's cool. And then I thought about what I just heard in the video, and I thought, what the fuck did I just listen to? Where it's a lot of like ideas like shotgunned at you with the Zamichi video and the Ministry video that he made. But then I thought about what I just listened to and said, well, I don't know how the fuck to play a fucking Setite now. And I had to go and I had to look down
Yep.
and track down the Setite books. And Kyle, you you know how long it took me to wrap my head around the set types because I just figured these guys out not too long ago.
Yeah, we did the whole ministry video like years ago at this point now, like a year
2 years ago.
a year and change ago.
And it turns out that I had the set types wrong, and then we remade that video.
We thought they were all a bunch of fucking, like, prostitution ring handlers and drug dealers. No.
Like Epstein types, P. Diddy types.
No.
Yep.
Turns out they're the arbiters of change.
And there's an actual, like, honest argument, religious doctrine behind their ideas that we just didn't pay attention to. And it feels like a lot of people that play set types and their live plays or use set types as NPCs also don't realize that too. Where that's a whole mad commentary about the set types themselves, where this whole like sexual obsession to the clan has distracted from the actual message.
Yes.
And then the Primogen just stopped uploading vampire content altogether, World Darkness content altogether, made a video where he was saying goodbye, and then deleted that video, and then he made this whole like audiobook recording where it's like 4 10-minute long videos, and then it stopped, and he just didn't upload for a while, and then he says he's making a new channel, and I have no idea if he's deleting this one or not. And I'm thinking, like, you had a pretty good thing going here with the World Darkness videos, and you still didn't cover all the topics where just put the World Darkness videos in the bag, and that's all you had to do. And you could have made some decent money off of YouTube doing that. So why the fuck you stopped, I don't know. Like, what the fuck position you do this, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it had to do with some personal issues, I think, in real life, from what I've heard.
And that's it, where...
kind of put a stop to his team.
And that's it, where... You said team?
No, his team.
His team,
yeah.
where that too, and now he's getting like back into it. He's going like talking about Bloodlines 2 when it comes out, and like, I get like creator burnout because I don't think you should like. It's good if you want to monetize your channel and make money off of it, but don't make this a day job because Kyle, how many YouTubers did we watch 10 years ago that are still around today?
The only one I can think of is PewDiePie, and that's it. And
Well, I
even
mean-
then,
Like
his stuff
PewDiePie
is
stuff is like
insane.
considered like a dead channel now because he's just doing family vlog and that's it.
Well, I mean, not really a
Exactly.
dead channel. Let's be real. That dude never has to fucking work again.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Budes is one of the YouTubers that just made it.
But I'm thinking of like YouTube channels like Kyle. If you remember Super Bunny Hop, that
Oh
channel.
yeah, what happened to him?
It just dropped off.
Yeah,
Just dropped off.
it's nuts.
What
yeah,
about SMG4? Does he still
Yeah.
exist?
That too, and like who else? Like
well, FPS
I
Russia got indicted by the ATF on fucked up Trump charges, which is bullshit.
like Smosh quit uploading. Like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye have like really slowed down their content.
Yeah,
What about Cinemassacre? Is he still around?
he's
Well,
still
that's
making
Jimmy.
content.
Like James Rolfe like upload a video when he feels like it, but it's no longer his day
No,
job.
I'm not even shitting
Yeah.
you. James Rolfe uploaded a video about like the original Metroid trilogy, I think like
Huh.
last week, and it was awesome.
And there
Hey,
it
not
is.
bad.
I'm gonna say
then-
it. James Rolfe is a fucking saint.
Yep.
And then you see like other guys have been doing this for like
football.
like, and then you look at other YouTubers that have been doing this for like 10 years, and they're fucking fried doing this. Like,
It's a
Game
lot.
Grumps Kyle.
I don't even watch them anymore. Like they need to stop. They just need to
Wait.
stop.
Like,
Dan
when
should
your
just
entire
focus on
Let's Play
Ninja
show is
Sex
about
Party.
telling stories.
Yeah.
You're eventually going to run out of stories.
Yeah.
And if it's the same 2 guests every show, you're going to run out of stuff to talk about. Because eventually you're going to start telling shows. You're going to start telling stories about doing the show.
And they
And
do
just gonna, like,
actually.
Yeah, and you're just going to inbreed your content, which is what they're fucking doing now. Where it's saying like, hey, you remember back in the day when we did this? Like, yeah, I remember it because I can still go back and watch that fucking video.
Yeah.
And that was back when you were funny.
There's only so much you can do.
Or guys like, say, the Nostalgia Critic, who are still doing the same fucking shtick, and that's it. You could say like Doug Walker tried breaking away from it too, where he tried doing demo reel, and it wasn't funny, and he felt like the only way he was going to make a living off of YouTube was doing Nostalgia Critic, and then like kept going like overboard and overboard with the skits to the point where it just felt like he was just making his
Obnoxious.
own movies. And like Angry Joe and Linkara and all these other people that were with thatguywiththeglasses.com, where you can't do this shit for over a decade. You're going to fucking ruin your mind doing this, where the best thing to use YouTube for is as a venue for a skill or a hobby you have. Where
Yep.
the best videos on YouTube are guys who are playing covers of their own music or their own original compositions
Yeah.
and uploading that.
Yep.
Or
I mean,
people that say
even those guys aren't safe because Nick Nocturna, who's a huge metal YouTuber, he had to go on hiatus because he would just grind out videos like nobody's business. And it got to the point where it's like he's ignored so much personal stuff that he never took the time to like process and deal with, that he was just like, guys, I need to stop. It's unhealthy now. I just need to stop. And like,
Yep.
to his credit, he
when-
built a great fan base where they're very respectful of his space and his privacy. And I'm sure he'll be back eventually, but like even then, even musician YouTubers still get burned out. Fent McKenty, for example, this was a legendary crash out. He'd never announced like a going away video. He just revealed one day on a podcast. He's like, I don't actually know shit about music. I don't even care about music. I did this all for the money, and I'm sick of people on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had such a huge amount of respect as a musician, as somebody that liked music, for Fen McKenty, bringing more attention to, to hardcore, to heavy metal, to punk rock. And the fact that he had his own podcast where he would talk to all these musicians, and then one day he just said he was done. He just the hate got too much for him. He bullshitted his way out of it on that podcast, never released any other videos, and just dropped off the face of the earth. And everybody like tore him apart because of how disingenuous it all sounded. Rightfully so. Nick Nocturna even got in on that one as well. But, it is possible for content creators, no matter what happens, to eventually just get burned out, whether it's not being able to come up with new ideas, the content itself getting repetitive, having to rely on it as a stream of income in a highly volatile market, or just like general exhaustion. Or maybe they're just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I pigeonholed myself and I want to move on. But,
when you ever get to that point where you've been doing this for 10 years and you're just burnt out, you're just fried out, there's 3 ways in my mind that you go out. You either do like Game Theory did with MatPat, where you just say, okay, guys, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. You make your goodbye video. You dust your hands. You're done. That's it. Or you do like, say, Review Tech USA, Darkside Phil, or the Quartering do, where you've been in the business for too long, you don't like doing the business anymore, but you've been doing the business for so long, you have no other skill, you can't really write this down on a job resume because it's going to be considered a gap year by most employers, so you're stuck making content that you don't want to make anymore.
Jesus.
Where like you watch a Quartering video, Kyle, and just listen to how unenthusiastic he sounds.
Just dead inside.
Where like, he's talking about his coffee brand coffee, and he's going, "We've got freeze-dried strawberries, and these are the only time we're going to have freeze-dried strawberries with the coffee company that we're making." Well, you can tell that the coffee's good because if that's what he drinks in the morning.
Number 15.
Oh, man.
The number 15 freeze-dried coffee sold by the Quartering.
Bro,
And then-
I think the dude's a drone. He got corrupted by the Weaver, my guy.
He had to
He's a
have been.
drone.
Absolutely.
And then the last avenue you can go down is guys like Ethan Ralph, where
Oh no!
you spiral into
learn-
self-destruction and ruin the lives of yourself and everyone around you.
like Ethan Ralph, Ethan Van Sciver, Nick Ricada, Dick Masterson, where
Your
you're
favorite
looking at
genre of
something-
YouTuber.
who else? Razor Fist,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and like you just look at
Yep.
yourself
What's
and you
sad is
say,
I used to respect Razor Fist, and then like later on he's like, okay, all he's doing is sowing the seeds of division amongst the population even further, And now I realize that, wow, he dated a high schooler. That's disgusting and should be shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the whole thing with that is that you just go into this, you get into this mindset of, I used to be somebody and now I'm nobody, and then you just crash out on the streams. You show up to work drunk, you show up high, you start abusing drugs, tearing up your
Jeez.
body, you hate your audience, you start fighting with your audience in the comments. Like, you had Ethan Van Sciver not too long ago where somebody said, hey, I spent money on your Kickstarter for Rainbow the Brute, and the comic book you said you're going to make back in 2022. It's 2025 versus the book. And Ethan Van Sciver got so fucking butthurt and just pipe bombed the guy on stream for asking him.
What?
For
He
asking
what?
me, like, for just like saying, hey, can you finish the comic that I paid you to finish? And he just went off on the fucking guy instead.
Oh, I thought you said he actually said a pipe bomb to him. I was like,
No, like not like metaphorical.
okay,
But still, like,
He blew
Jesus.
the casket. Yeah.
yeah. Even it
So
Talk
is
about
crazy.
vindictive.
So if Imogen like lost like enthusiasm over this because of that, where I'm gonna say like what probably should like been in my mind like the smart decision is just step away from the videos for a while. If you feel passionate for doing it again, do it again. If you don't. But going down on the audiobook route and then saying, okay, I'm just going to torch the channel and then make a new one,
Yeah.
where you've got to start from scratch all over again. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's the end of that
One
thought.
content creator, not really related to World of Darkness, but one that I have a tremendous amount of respect for because of the community that he fostered and the immense amount of effort that he puts into his videos. Say what you will about him. Some people think he's boring and repetitive. I just think he's a consistently good YouTuber. The Russian Badger.
Yes.
Fucking Spencer, he does a phenomenal fucking job. And you can see, like, I started watching him during the Rainbow Six era, and I could see the clear progression in his videos where it was just like, you know, started with like formatted text, the snippets from the gags, and, you know, the time it took to break down the players. But then he started adding in like the source filmmaker animations and then building like whole bits around the source filmmaker animations. And now he's got a whole mocap soup that he's recording his videos in a digital environment for. And it adds so much variety, and you can just see it getting better and better over the years. Granted, he's uploading less and less frequently, but now the videos are like a half hour to an hour long, covering everything about this game that he and his friends have been playing, all the great moments that came of it, why the game is so great, what the game has wrong with it. And sure, he might upload like 3 or 4 videos a year at this rate, but he puts so much effort into them, and they're so well done by the end of the day, and they're funny and they're entertaining, and his friends are tight-knit, and they have such great chemistry that, like, he really just has it together. He is a well-oiled machine on that channel.
It's like the level of content that you see like out of like Pyro Cynical today or like Seth Zinch.
Yes.
Those kind of channels.
People that actually have like a genuine passion for what they do. Like, I am guilty of the stereotype of, you know, me watching Pyrocynical talk for 3 hours about a game I'll never play in my life.
Yes.
Which, however, isn't exactly true because I have played Cry of Fear and I have played Cruelty Squad.
And Cruelty Squad's a hell of a trip.
Nice.
It is a trip. I haven't finished it, but it is a brutal game to play.
Next World Darkness YouTuber, Fangs After Dark. I have no formal opinion about Fangs After Dark. I'm sorry.
What a cop out.
I'm just not interested. I just didn't find this content all that engaging and interesting. I'm sorry, but it's not saying that he's a bad YouTuber. It's just nothing that
It's not you,
felt
it's
like I was
me.
gonna watch in my spare time. Yeah, it's not you, it's me.
For me-
Meanwhile, on the other hand, in his recommendations, I clicked on this. I clicked this
what's
guy
up?
instead. What?
Yeah, 3 at a point.
I was saying, one of my favorite videos of Fangs After Dark was his the Vampire Generation video, where he went from Neonate to Antediluvian and basically described how you would play them and how would they think. I like the video a lot. Actually, it was one of my favorites.
So if
Hell
you are to
yeah.
start with Fangs After Dark, start there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in his recommendations, I found a different channel called Glue Boy. I clicked on that. I watched one of his videos. Immediate subscriber. Immediately subbed to his channel. He's got 100. He's got 16.3 subscribers, 173 videos, and 978,318 views over the course of his lifetime. And he made a video about Baba Yaga where everything that I didn't say in our Rich Cross Russia video, he said in that video. And thank you so much for making that video. Because that turns out I actually had some misunderstanding about Baba Yaga as a character myself. And this video perfectly explained it. Where this guy is making some really good stuff. He makes a bunch of... he makes a few Trench Crusade videos as well, but he also has like Warhammer 40k videos, and then that cements it. Great channel, where he's very similar to Burger Krieg in how he makes videos. Speaking of which, Burger Krieg as well, where Burger Krieg, I feel like, is probably doing the best work in World of Darkness at the moment. Where his videos about World of Darkness, where he comes across as like a very charming, very sweet guy on camera, where his video on Changing and Dreaming, especially, where kind of that video is 3 hours long, and it's just him talking. He edited that whole thing together. It's him sitting for 3 hours with a sock microphone in front of a camera for that long. Holy fuck, that must have been a pain in the ass to record.
That's some dedication.
And he actually made, when this video on the Marauders and the Nefandi, he actually freshened up a lot of stuff about the Nefandi and the Marauders that I just did not get. Where him explaining that, I then took some of the stuff that he said in that Marauders video, and then I put that into the Mage Live Play that we're running. So in terms of his videos, I'm very happy whenever he makes a World of Darkness video, but when he makes the video that says patriarchy is bad for men, and make others uncomfortable, and why they would choose the bear, where it just comes across as like almost like a BuzzFeed channel where...
Bruh.
Dog, if you did upload that, I would have subscribed, but I don't want that in my sub box.
Yeah.
So he makes very good content, and that's what I'll say about that. He really is doing the most work out of this. Now, I still say that Lord by Night is the top of the ladder, where he's the head of the World of Darkness snake. But Burger Krieg is really putting out a lot of work, and I can see that he's bringing in a lot of new players as well. Where you can tell that he really gives a shit about, cares about, and he really does care about World of Darkness. So very happy this guy's making content. And see, there's one more name on my tongue. World of Radish.
Oh yes. This is my favorite.
Now he's not a lore channel. Instead, he tells stories that take place in World of Darkness in character, and that's his channel. And and it's cool. Where if you're starved for World of Darkness content, go check out his stuff. If you're saying, "Oh, Paradox is never going to write anything of quality," just go check out that stuff that he's made. Where
World of Radish, in my opinion, is like on par with Toiling V as well, because his style, at least is like one of his good videos, are when he's like explaining boons and explaining the tradition, being like, he can do with this. He has a video as well as like vampires versus werewolves, and he has like a compelling story with it, with how you can deal with a werewolf. Those are his best videos, in my opinion.
And the videos where he's doing the little stories, where it reminds me of channels like Mr. Creepypasta that I used to watch back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Where it's fun listening to that kind of stuff. Where I still listen to his old content from like back in like 2012 to like 2014. And then, like, you can see, like, the drop in quality, like his channel fell off when, like, Five Nights at Freddy's came out around the same time.
Oh.
But, like some classic creepypasta stories, like, that guy actually made these stories scary. And, like, World of Radish, he's a good storyteller. He does all this pretty well. He does it all in one take. I think it's in one take. If he's editing it, I can't tell. But if you're looking for, like an in-universe story, he's a good channel to check out for that. And it's completely original. I can't name any other channel out there that's the same as his. Or I just haven't discovered it yet.
Yeah, and if you're like a new storyteller, new player for World of Darkness, there's really good like information as well from it, like Laws of the Damned, Sabbat, the Code of Milani, you learn about that. Like really useful information, like to get new storytellers up to date on the lore.
Where
Hell
if you're
yeah.
going into this like blind, you have no idea what World Darkness is, this is a good channel to check out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Two other channels I want to talk about. Changeling the podcast. 352 subs, 144 videos, 15,216 views over the course of their lifetime. One of these guys has joined our channel in our Discord channel. I don't remember what his account is. All I gotta say to them: get some energy. Get some energy. Get some fucking motivation.
Take a
Talk
fucking
faster.
monster before you
Drink a Celsius. Drink a cup of coffee before you record. There
Johnny.
is so much dead air on that show. I will listen to what you have to say, but there's so many long pauses. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's so slow. It's like a fucking Review Tech USA video. Come on.
I would like to point out that Johnny is contractually obligated to bring up Celsius at least once a month in our videos.
It is tasty. It is tasty. Kyle, you drink the wrong flavor.
You keep saying that, and then I keep trying other flavors, and they still don't taste good.
Have you drank the wild berry?
Well, no, I drank the lemon lime
that's the right flavor. You gotta find it.
Okay, fuck's sake.
That's the right one. You didn't drink the wrong one.
Convert or die, pagan.
I know that hippie IT job you have has a Celsius cooler in it.
No.
Yes, it does.
Some of my coworkers drink Soylent because they don't eat because they don't have the time.
Wait.
Yeah.
Do your employees drink White Monster?
No, I'm the only Monster aficionado in the office, and I'm contractually obligated
drink
because
White Monster?
I do actually.
Okay, wear the femboy costume now.
No, see the thing is, like, I used to drink the White Monster, and then I switched to just drinking regular Monster.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And with their channel too, where I watched the Ridge Coast Appalachia video because they covered that book because it's got changing stuff in it. And then they said, "Oh, this book has the problematic topic of white issue," and I immediately clicked off the video after. I immediately clicked off the video after I heard that.
Yep.
Where, like, are we fucking serious? Do not tell me you believe in the same shit that Werewolf Den believes in. Don't say that. Like, don't tell me that the issue need to be this skin color or any shit like that. Don't.
Yep.
Just fucking don't. And that's one of their older videos too. Whether or not they've improved, I honestly can't tell you because I can't get behind. I can't do it. I can't. Just like let's get some subs. Let's get some fucking energy going on here. Like, do you guys want to monetize? Do you want to get 1,000 subscribers? Get some energy. Come on. That's all I gotta say to you. Speaking of which, Mage the podcast. Now I gotta be delicate when I bring these guys up.
Yeah.
Because Terry died.
Really?
And,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I felt sad. I'm gonna say this. I liked him. I liked him more than the other guy.
Terry had a lot of energy and he had experience in broadcasting. Now, did I necessarily agree with what he had to say on the show? No. Did I think that he really glossed over topics on the show? Yes. But if the goal is to get people into Mage, you are doing that. Because you have the numbers to prove it. You have 2.52 thousand subscribers, 343 videos, and your lifetime viewership is 228,579. So you guys are doing pretty well for yourselves. And you still are. And you're bringing all these other people from Oxpath that have wrote for Mage in the past, write for Mage in the present, and all these other people that have skin in the game and tabletops. So you're doing well for yourself. So there's that, and I am going to say condolences for that because I honestly don't know how I'm going to manage how I would hypothetically manage if Kyle or Brian died on me. Where these are two people who are like really fucking important to me, and I know that if that happened, I would not react well to it. And I'm not trying to make this a me thing, but trying to say I can't imagine what you're going through, and I don't want to. Because I don't want to know how much that really hurts, but I feel you to an extent where you're going through something, and I do respect that. Where I am going to respect that. I'm not going to let any sort of poison come out of my mouth.
You're doing the best you can to uphold the wishes of your friend, and that's a very noble thing to do.
Yep.
Exactly. Like what I really liked about that guy was at the end of each and every episode, he would always make book recommendations. And I really love that. In fact, I even went as far to start listening to some of the books they recommended, and I can't thank them enough, you know.
And their videos, you remember what I mentioned before where I said I won't make a video unless I have something unique I want to say about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always felt with their topics, though, that you have hour-long content, you have like hour and 30-minute long content, but there was so much stuff that you just don't bring up that's in the books that I felt was really fucking important to bring up. Because it feels
Yeah.
like we're like speed running through the books, where what I want to do with Mage the Ascension, what I've been doing with the videos, that I'm trying to talk about these guys as ideologies. Where I'm trying to say, here's the actual ideas behind the social course, here's the actual ideas behind the Euthantos. They did that with the Euthantos video, where they got into it and said, oh, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he said that he spent time in India, and he got to see like how like the culture of India worked and how that would apply to the Euthantos. And I thought that was actually pretty educational and pretty insightful. But
Yep.
I did not see that in the Society of Ether video, where why aren't we really going into details about like transhumanist science with the Sons of Ether? And it's
Yep.
all this stuff that I feel like what, like your Mage, the podcast, your whole shtick is Mage, and it feels like we're never going deep enough into Mage. Because it feels like what I was expecting from them was really deep dives into, say, how the Order of Hermes sees the world, and then I don't fucking get it. So
Yeah.
it's content that left me thirsting for Mage, where I guess you got your job done because it got me looking at Mage. So it got me to get up off my ass and start looking at Mage the Ascension. Now I'm making my own Mage videos about it too.
Yeah.
There we go.
Like with the open-endedness of the transhumanist ideals of the Society Ether, like we know how Ludwig is in the live play. I was like, okay, what's the most common theories out there? Evolution. And then I thought to myself, do it. I'm going to go off with the Bavarian stereotype that he's a fat alcoholic. Oh, instead of stoned ape theory, it's alcoholism that made us evolve.
Yeah. I also do suspect these guys may or may not have a tie to Onyx Path to Paradox. Because I remember in one video, like Terry says, oh, and you want to go to Dread RPG and buy these books. Don't pirate these books, people. Even though it's very easy to pirate them, don't pirate them. I'm thinking, well, that's another thing to bring up in the middle of the podcast. Is there like some sort of like financial incentive for you to say this? Or it was just a moment. It was just a moment that I'm probably reading way too deep into it, but I probably am reading too deep into it. But
It's probably fine.
Wait. You guys remember in those early 2000s DVDs it said you wouldn't download a car, piracy
Oh,
is
yeah.
a crime, you know?
Yeah,
that
I
PSA?
remember seeing that.
well, I'm
It
sorry,
made me
but
think of that.
Roman Polanski is a sex criminal. I'm not paying for Rosemary's Baby.
Valid.
Yeah.
And in terms of podcasts out there, that's all I've got to say about most of these guys. Now I've got 2 left to talk about, and it's going to be at length.
All right.
Oh boy,
Uh,
I know what it is.
All right. If you've been following this show for a while, you immediately know who it's going to be, because I'm at the point now where I can leave this man's name out of my mouth, where I've got like what I never really wanted to go into his content hating him. I didn't want to hate Porter from Rage Across the Internet, but I did after seeing like what kind of guy he was, and like when I got to speak with him, or like lack of speaking to him in a Discord server. And Rage Across the Internet, where you could say that we've copied some of their stuff, where going through the book beginning to end was something that they did on their show. I just did it for this show because that's just a good idea as to how to run the books. Where if you're talking about the Fianna, you should start at the beginning of a Fianna book and go to the end of it.
Yes.
That just makes sense. And that makes sense to you, Kalmar. I didn't approach you saying, we're going to rip off Rage Across the Internet, because that's not the intention. That's not what the fuck I was doing.
No. The idea was, hey, this kind of sucks. Let's do it better.
And when I was looking through Rage Across the Internet, where I was trying to find out more information about Werewolf the Apocalypse, where Gentleman's Guide to Pentix's Guide to Werewolf, it's good for introducing you to Werewolf, but I wanted to find more. I didn't really know where to find the books at the time. So I looked over and said, oh, Rage Across the Internet, let me click on this. And then I did not know that this was going to be something that was going to result in a rivalry. And I did not know that I was going to where I am today, where Werewolf Den and Rage Cross the Internet are the reason why I got motivated to make a podcast. Where, in terms of their numbers, 368 subscribers as of recording, 278 videos, and 25,816 views over the course. Compared to this, we've doubled our subscriber count, and we've got 5 times the viewership. So,
Well, I think we got him, homie.
where
Ladies and
I set
gentlemen,
out-
we got him.
where this man was also the benchmark, where I wanted to do what he was doing, but so much better, because like listening to his podcast, where it was good when I first started listening to some of these videos, it was good. Like his Such Story video was the first one I saw. And then I clicked on the Wendigo video, and I had the misfortune of listening to producer Joey's voice, where
Oh no.
like the stuff she was saying on the video, where she's saying, you told me to read the Wendigo video, but I didn't read it because I was offended. I did no research for the video, and I'm going to let the world know how much I hate the Wendigo book. Okay, then why are you on the podcast then? If you're not actually if you're not going to read the book, then why'd you show up for the episode? And her title was like producer Joey, so I guess it was like her money, like she was like paying for whatever venue or equipment they were using. But you could just pay for the equipment or the venue. You don't actually have to be on the show as well. And then they cut her loose, and I'm thinking, well, thank fuck, like your show got so much better without her on it.
Yep.
Amazing.
I'm not being mean. I'm like, that's like honest, like
This is
critique
what
saying,
happened.
yeah, she was dragging down the show, and like cutting ties with her was the best decision you made. And then they brought on Melissa, and she joined a server, by the way. I know that Melissa from Rage Cross the Internet is in the server, because I saw her account because I joined their fucking Discord server, and I recognized her username, and I verified her and everything, so I know that she's in this fucking server. Now, whether or not she's doing like a whole like spy thing, I honestly don't give a shit about. And I kind of say like, let's go ahead, like let's encourage you to do that. Let's have you see like how I run this shit. Let's have you see this firsthand, if that's the case. But
I mean,
you
is
know,
she still
I might
here?
just be overthinking it. Yeah, she's still here.
Oh, cool. Then we did good.
Yes, but I really feel like she, like, on the podcast, I'm not fucking like simping or any shit. Don't you fucking accuse me of that. I'm not into women. But she honestly feels like that. I swear that she needs to have her own fucking show, because she's actually bringing up some like really insightful points on the middle of the podcast, and then like Porter and Danny don't even fucking acknowledge what the fuck she says in half of these episodes.
Ah, jeez.
Where, like, just go off and make your own show. You're going to do better without these fucking jokers holding you back. But, then like over time, like Porter like would say like a few things in the episodes that would just rub me the wrong way. Like, whenever somebody doesn't realize what he's referencing his own show, he'll say, "Thank you for listening to the podcast." And it started off like jokey at first, but then like it started like sound like he was like genuinely butthurt whenever that would come up. And then like whole rant he was going on about where I was the one carrying this game on your back. Okay, so why did you only start this channel during the pandemic then? If you're carrying this game, and where the fuck was your website before that? Where you have a website made by fucking Wix, where in order to get onto your fucking server, I have to give my fucking Google email to your website that fucking harvests my data.
Yeah, no, fuck all that. I'm not trusting
In order
that.
to get the link to join your fucking Discord, just have that shit in your YouTube description. And every single video we upload, the link for our server is in the description. Just click the link. Just click the link and join the link. And then we'll two-way verify you. We set this up because we didn't want to get fucking raided. We did this to keep people like Socks out of the server. And that's why.
Yeah.
My Socks, I know you still
Like-
fucking lurk around the channel, by the way. You're still banned and you're never getting back in. You're never getting back in.
Yeah, and you love kissing your truck.
What the
Maybe I went a little too far on that. Maybe I went a little too far on that. Maybe I should not said that.
The fucking car accident, like he acted like his fucking mom died. And I'm saying, dog, do you not have insurance on your fucking truck, dude? You fucking idiot. Your truck doesn't lose its value. You're going to get your money back for this shit. And then he's like that fucking butthurt, and then use that truck, that car accident as an excuse to be like really fucking shitty to Intergener and Greed and Eden.
Yeah, it's
Bro,
just like rude.
bro, he got, dude, he went off on me when I tried to de-escalate the situation. It was crazy.
It's just fucking embarrassing. Like, dog, we're so much better without you. You're never welcome back.
Yeah, but basically, like, oh my
Then we
In
go fucking
hindsight, Kyle, I
personalize
never should have
episode,
invited him
dog.
on for the mod episode because he really did bring down the fucking content for that.
bro,
Ouch.
it was so weird. Like listening back to it, I didn't say anything at all because I didn't know jack crap about Mage back then. But listening back to it, I'm just like, bro, what was this guy tweaking on about? Like, thankfully, that episode gave me a bunch of inspiration from my OC Victor. But like, wow, cringe,
I don't
bro,
know.
cringe.
Exactly.
Cringe.
It was just a guy that was like really fucking embarrassing, and he still fucking lurks around our channel, and he still DMs Ryan, by the way.
What?
Hey, news.
Why?
Yeah, he's still
What?
because he has convinced himself that Ryan is his guy who's going to get him back into the server.
Ryan knows better than that. Ryan has a zero
Ri-
bullshit policy.
Ryan only had the only reason Ryan hasn't blocked you and unfriended you is because he's laughing at you. That's why.
Yeah, basically. Oh yeah. Hey, this is for Socks. I love the technocracy. It's my most favorite faction now. Suck it. I'm playing a progenitor. Suck it. I have an NWOC. Suck it.
That's the reason why I have that two-way verification system set up. So I joined the Red Cross to the Internet's Discord server, and most of my gripes with this channel came from that, where I can say like, "Oh, server content sucks." Like your Shellords episode, I thought was fucking terrible, where it turned me off of the Shellords as a group because of how poorly you fucking explained it. And also, what the fuck is your work ethic? Like, where the fuck is your Children of Gaia remake video that you've been talking about for 2 years? You're gonna do, and then you just don't do it. Where like
Yeah.
I get that you have like day jobs, but instead you're recording videos like Junk Drawer 9, an entire video talking about backgrounds, like what riveting fucking content.
I mean, you could just
And-
read that in a fucking book, dog.
Like that's all you gotta do, and just do it without Joey, and it's all you gotta do. That's it. And I don't get why the fuck you just won't do this. And Kyle, the microphone quality of the show, you've got OBS up on your screen. You can hear what's playing in Discord, right?
Yes, I do.
Uploading this to Discord as I speak. Give it just a minute because it's a video.
Oh,
no, I
Play
know what it is.
that 16 seconds of audio.
Oh Jesus!
I know what
okay.
this is.
I'm gonna have OBS open up on my other window so I can watch the levels
And
peak.
nothing actually happens on the screen, but just listen to the audio quality.
Well, no, it
Bro-
records
bro-
desktop audio. Let's.
It's just supposed to get products of the
Bro,
time.
got
but it's
that
consistent.
dollar store mic. What
no,
the
no,
fuck?
I'm turning that off. I don't want to deal with that.
What the fuck happened to your microphones? I have an audio technical. This shit's $90, and that's it.
Yeah,
You can afford this.
I
You can afford
Bro,
this.
this is worse than my previous headphone mic.
And what
I got
gets me
a
is
new
that they
microphone.
had good microphones. They had good equipment before. What the fuck happened to it?
were they trying to record from the road or something? I mean,
I don't fucking know. Like,
See,
were you like driving down a
there were-
tunnel and when you made this episode?
there were a couple of episodes like a little bit earlier when I moved where like I got a separate microphone, I got a different audio box, and it just really wasn't working. And then I went and I
that
got
video
this one.
that we did under Red Talents where my microphone was super fucking loud because Firefox updated and glitched out Discord in doing so.
Yeah, but that wasn't
Oh,
your
boy.
fault. That was technical difficulties, and we do
And
warn
I
people
don't feel
ahead
like we
of
have
time.
like enough new stuff to say about the Red Talents for me to remake that.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why I haven't remade that. Now we shut down the Puka video because of that, where that
Yup.
audio was complete fucking dog shit. We could not use it. My microphone was peaking every word.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we,
and now.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and now, with the thanks of
Oh no!
Oh
no.
You just
no.
roboed out. Vic, you okay?
Oh no!
oh no!
Okay. that wasn't Mike. That was your internet, but still.
that came at the right time too.
With the
Yeah,
things.
Discord didn't want you to speak.
Shit! Is it better now?
Yes,
It
it is.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
you're
thank
back,
God.
you're back.
Okay. So, with the thanks of fucking Kyle,
It just broke us. God damn it.
I jinxed it. With the thanks of Kyle, I got a new microphone. Ah, the internet.
Oh,
Fuck.
No, we're good. We're good.
So
You're still
so
good.
we got this where, like, yeah, it's a running joke with our show that we'll never get production values 100% right. Our audio will always be a little bit off, but this is listenable.
Yeah,
You can hear this shit.
That's the
I'm,
main
I'm,
thing.
I'm
is
not
that
recording this shit in my bathroom, in the shower. I'm not doing this.
I'm in my room
And
right now. So.
While snorting crack.
So when I went on to like Porter's stuff, where I was in his Discord server, and kudos to Danny for actually coming in and like orientating me in the server, like actually greeting me. I got crickets from everyone else. Like nobody said anything else to me when I got into the server. And at the time this is when they were on their Patreon, and they got rid of it. Now they have a Ko-Fi, where I'll get into that shit later. But if you paid them enough money, you were essentially a mod. Where Grant Kaysen, where I fucking hate this man in particular, where he's this guy that wrote homebrew for Werewolf the Savage Age, and he's on episodes where he invites himself on his most insane, I am talking to all these other people that are proofreading my content, and therefore it's going to be better when it finally comes out. We're listening to every Joker. That doesn't necessarily make your content good. That's it. Just the amount of, like, I don't really know how to describe it besides like fart sniffing this man would do, where he would talk about his own headcanon ideas and homebrew ideas as if they were canon, where this man fucking dragged down the Macaulay episode because of the shit that Porter just let him say. And the reason why Porter's letting him say this is because this guy's got, now, as for whether or not Grant Kaysen was paying Porter, I can't really verify that. I can't say that with in honesty. But I'm saying is like, why the fuck did you just let this guy in and just do what the fuck you wanted? Because Kyle, there were moments in that server where I was just having a conversation, and all of a sudden Grant would just run into my DMs and would start telling me how wrong I was about what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah, it's just kind of
Or-
rude.
Bruh, what the hell?
Or just in the middle of the
Bullying.
server too.
Well, like in the middle of the
And-
server, it's like I
Rude
understand it's like you
lawyer
want
in
to
your
foster
life.
some discussion, but like just to be blatantly rude like that is a little rough.
Where, like, I was talking about, this was back when we first started running our Las Vegas vampire game.
Yeah.
Is when I did this, and I was telling the story about
Wow.
the Sunstar that became a wraith and like came back and like summons all the death breaths in that encounter, and you fucking loved it.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then Great Case gets in my fucking DMs and said, "You did your encounter wrong. Can I see your rate stat sheet? I don't believe those numbers. Let me see your stat sheet." And he's just, like talking this shit, and he just writes a fucking sheet for me and just like shoves into my DMs. I didn't fucking ask you for that shit, asshole.
I mean, I
Like,
get
fuck you.
I get he's trying to help, but like you could be a little bit
But,
more
like,
gentle
in
about
such
it.
And in a way that's like that fucking rude.
It's like just to blatantly step up and go, "Yo, you did this fucking wrong. Here's a better way to do it." To like, no. Calm the fuck down. It's like I see where you're going here, but you know, this is you know, if you want to hear it, ask somebody first before you just drop fucking advice.
And the shit that he wrote for Savage Age, by the way, it's for a changing breed rabbit called the Lepix. With our work that I swear this guy fucking drew himself. Where, Kyle, would you like to see the sense in why Gaia would take a prey animal and give it the changing seed?
Hold up, what the fuck?
A prey animal gets a changing seed in that
What?
story.
Which animal?
A rabbit.
Rabbit?
And all the
Bro watched too much of Wallace and Gromit.
Like all that it is in Lepix book. Were you meaning the puka with fucking everything you wrote in the fucking Lepix book? Because I looked through what you've had. That shit got fucking parodied on the script, and that's where I found it.
Yep.
And this guy's posting about saying, I was a bronze medal seller on Drive Thru RPG. You need to sell 2 copies of the book to be bronze seller on RPG.
Wait, for
That's
real?
it. That site's fucking dead. That like nobody's actually spending their money on Drive Thru RPG, dude. All this shit's been poured off to PDF copies, script, and AnyFlip. Nobody's
my
making money off
God.
of it.
That's insane, dog.
That makes me think of the meme where it's like, Steam congrats, your game sold for like 5 cents. and
Yes,
this guy lying down
exactly
a stack of cash.
Yeah, that. And then with some of the people on the server too, where once again, like these people would have like Patreon roles in the server, and these people just felt like they could say whatever the fuck they want to say to you. Where
What?
and all these people too didn't have like 2 brain cells to fucking rub together. Because I was trying to talk to this person whose name I still remember the name of these 2 people. Their names were Andre and Not a Gangrel, who were both whales to Porter, where they just shoved money down his throat. And I was trying to like tell them about like how Carl Jung's ideas apply to the Weaver. Now I wasn't really explaining it very well, and to my own credit, where
Yeah.
this was like back when I first read Aeon, and that book legit freaked me the fuck out when I read it. And
I can only imagine.
I was trying to explain it, and then Andre says, "Did you read a book called Manhunt? It's about a trans woman who's hunted by men who want to kill her." And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, Andre, cool."
Thanks for like not
What?
listening to anything I fucking said, GG.
I think it's not listening. It was so clear to me that like Andre like was just like fucking autistic instead. Like, I'm not like saying that's like a pejorative. I'm saying like no, like all the like the shit that you thought you were going through, like no, that's like common for like autistic women to go through. And the reason I was able to like fucking identify that shit, like I've talked to like fucking turd women in the past. I know what this shit fucking sounds like.
Yeah.
And like Nala Gringo was saying like, oh, Werewolf as a book, it's racist, it's racist. I'm thinking like, well, okay, well, what the fuck are you in a werewolf server like talking about World of the Apocalypse if you think the book is racist? You're saying, oh, there's no Indian werewolf tribe. Okay, well, how about we make a werewolf Indian tribe?
Bruh.
And I dragged both Andre and Nala Gringo into a private message chat in Discord and said, okay, if this is racist, let's make an Indian werewolf. And then both of them left the chat afterwards. Like, you don't actually want to solve the problem, do you?
No, they just
You
want to complain about
about
it.
the problem.
We like,
And then and I made that fucking Indian werewolf, the Summon Vian.
and you know what? They're a great faction. Sean's doing a phenomenal job playing him.
Yes. Where Sean read that and said, that's the group that I want to play as.
There we go. See, we identified an issue. We solved the issue.
So instead of saying, oh, I don't want to actually solve the issue, I just want to complain about the issue, I just want a virtue signal, and that's all it fucking was in that server. Where I swear, like, half the people in that server fucking hated World of the Apocalypse as a game and just want to complain about shit.
And that seems
they were
like
just-
a lot of people nowadays. They don't want to.
Or they were just furries, and that's the only reason why they're into Werewolf.
What's this?
Where they had like people in that server too that had like their rabbit fur suit was their profile picture.
Oh
No.
my god.
No,
No,
Oh,
furries
yikes.
when they encounter a werewolf and it starts ripping them apart instead of having sex with them.
And there were
We're on the same team.
there were a few moments with Porter where there were like, a few moments like the cast as a whole that started to rub me the wrong way with them. Where Tommy Dixon, like his last name is true. That guy was just a fucking asshole. Like anytime I tried talking to this guy, it was just a fucking rudeness from him. Where it's amazing just how your audience want to come in and want to talk to you, and then you want to like fucking like be this dismissive whenever I try to talk to you. Danny at least tried, but I swear like he tries like a little bit too hard in the show. Like in all honesty, like it might be just like me getting something wrong, but I swear like something about him is just like kind of fake to me on that show. Where when all of your laughs begin to sound the same, when I have you on double speed listen to a video and then like every fucking laugh you have sounds the same, I think you're trying a little bit too hard to have like Porter look good in all honesty. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but that's just how I see it, and I'm just telling like the way I see it. But Porter just came across to me as just a narcissist. And the reasons why is that this guy would have a game night where he would play Dead by Daylight in a server where, you know, good fucking game. Like, it really, like, it was just... I feel like there's something about people that plays Dead by Daylight that's just a red flag, in all honesty. Because I've never seen a game that has a more hostile, toxic, poisonous fandom than Dead by Daylight.
I mean, it's about
Yeah.
playing as a killer or a teenager, I guess.
It's on the same level of welcoming as League of Legends and Dark Souls.
Oh my god. As a little brother who's a Dark Souls player, yeah, he's a little eccentric, to put it
Elitist.
extremely nicely.
And same thing where, it's like Berserk too, right? Berserk is the best story ever told, but Berserk fans are so fucking cringe. But-
Yep. And
but-
they missed a whole point or something like that.
But,
They probably
but these
did.
game nights that Porter want to do, it's just he plays Dead by Daylight by himself or with the co-host. And if you try saying anything to him, he doesn't even listen to what you say.
So it was a good idea to
Dick.
start doing Quiplash nights then.
It's the game night is you get to watch me play a game, and that's it.
It's not much of a game night. Like I get
And
like you
it's
hop on
not-
a
it
Discord
wasn't-
server and
yeah,
you
I
like
mean-
stream a game and some other person
And,
streams game.
and the fucking game night, so he's fucking dead silent when he's playing Dead by Daylight. that's it.
Bruh.
And then there were two moments where it sounds small, but it says a lot about you as a person. Like with these moments where I was talking with I still remember their names too, like Phoenix, Good Evening, and Steel were their names in the server. And we were having a conversation about Black Furies, saying like topical today. We were saying like the idea of like a man wanting to join the Black Furies, and that's what we were talking about. And we were saying, well, what if a man changed their sex and joined the Black Furies? I said, well, it says in the Black Furies that you need to be born a woman to be a part of the tribe. And then there's cited cases where you have members like lore characters like Spartacus or Vula, who's in, I think that's her name, in Rage Cross, Australia, that have penises and are treated like shit in the Black Furies. So no, I don't think this will be allowed. And Porter doesn't even have the fucking stones to send it to me. Instead, fucking Grant Kaysen and Tommy Dixon come in and shut down the entire conversation and delete our fucking messages from the server.
That's kind of fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's a valid
And
point,
they say-
and we did go
And it
over
said,
that.
you need to stop this conversation immediately. Like, you're violating server rules. So you can talk about this topic from the other perspective, where if you're pro this topic, you can talk about it as much as you want. But if you start saying anything against it, your messages get deleted, and the fucking mods get in your fucking face about it.
You're allergic to a diversity of thought.
And then there was one conversation that I saw Porter was having with Phoenix, where they were talking about bonars and how, like the bonar, like how they're bad with money. And they're bringing up Jackal, and Porter was saying, well, what are you talking about Jackal? There's no such thing as Jackal. Like, Jackal was never thinking about it. And then Phoenix and I both went to the bonar PDF. We took screenshots of the flaw Curse of Jackal and posted them in the server. And Porter goes dead silent. All of a sudden, all of our messages suddenly are deleted, and Danny Tyson comes in and says, now, whenever Porter says something, you need to agree with it whenever he says it.
What?
Nah, fuck that.
Yes.
Get out of there. Ain't shit.
Talk
And
about dictatorship.
And I'm thinking, like,
1984.
Like, is your ego like this fucking fragile where if anyone says anything that pushes against you, you have to resist it? And yet all these people are saying, hey, can I join your live play? Can I join your live play? You don't have a Galliard in your live play. Can I join your live play? Instead of just saying them no, telling them no, you say, oh, I'll get back to you about it, and then you never do. Where I'd rather you just tell me fucking no, where it's this guy where it just became like so fucking obvious to me, like who Porter was. You're a fucking narcissist is what you are. Where you're like Werewolf is just an avenue for you getting fucking attention. And your whole business model is that you've got a handful of whales that go to you had a Patreon, you deleted your Patreon. And now you go to a fucking Ko-Fi where it doesn't cost anybody to have a Ko-Fi, and they just throw money at you, and that's your business model. And on top of that, your fucking merch store too, where I want to ask you honestly, how's your merch produced? How's it sourced? Did you go to a Chinese? did you go to China for it, or did you go to American labor for it? Because if you went anywhere outside of a Western country, was that produced ethically?
Oh,
This is
without
just me asking the
no,
last question here.
absolutely not.
And then he's saying that he shut his merch store down because, I don't want to put my audience through buying a $35 t-shirt. Well, why is the t-shirt $35? I can buy a WWE shirt today for $25.
Yep.
That's what I can do. It's that, no, you're not saying, oh, I don't want to be the guy to charge you this much money. You're charging them this much money in order to make up for the fucking labor cost, and you shut down your store. You have all this fucking surplus around because you realize that the only people who are buying your merch were either your whales or your co-host. And that was it. Well, like I say with merch, whenever you make fucking merchandise, only 1% of your fans will fucking buy this.
Yep.
So try to I don't have evidence as like the real reason as to why you shut down merch store, but I can tell when you're lying. I can tell when someone's lying to me and saying that you shut your merch store down for virtuous reasons. No, you didn't. Who shuts down a business for virtuous reasons?
No.
So
This is fucking cap, dude.
and that too, but I tried like the strata books that fucking comes back for me with them was I tried running a werewolf game on their server where I said, hey, I want to run a werewolf game. I see there's a bunch of players here. I don't want to go to Roll20 for this. Can I ask some of your players if I want to join can I ask some people here, do you want me to run a werewolf game? And I said, sure. Yeah, I don't think it was Port that said. I think it was Danny who said sure, and that made the room and everything for me. And so we started running a game on Tuesdays. I think it was Tuesday. That point doesn't matter. But then fucking Not a Gangrel joins, and this is the same guy who was saying Werewolf the Apocalypse was racist. He plays a Red Talon who in Hamid form is white skin, blue eyes, blonde hair.
Oh
okay.
my goodness.
Uh-huh. And I said, like, dude, why is this your Hamid form? It says here in the book that the red talon Hamid form looks like this because they don't breed with humans. And then he refused to compromise with it.
That's
And there were all these people were in my DMs just making demands about what they wanted, where they didn't want to roleplay getting gifts. They wanted me to hand them free shit because they had a context background. They wanted me to like skip entire segments of a game just so we could get to parts that they didn't want to do. And I fucking quit. I told them off in the server, and I just fucking left. And I was done.
It just
then-
seemed
Good.
ungrateful.
And then like the one guy followed me out of that server, and that was Tween S, the guy that made the artwork for our 3.5 project.
And God bless him. He did a damn fine job.
Awesome.
And that was so. I know I was not in the wrong with this because when I had people in DMs where I'm going to name their names. I'm like Phoenix, Steel, and Good and Evening, where I was in DMs with them, and we were talking about shit that I knew you were trying to shut down and you were trying to disagree with. I had somebody fucking follow me out of it and who told me in DMs that he was sick to damn death of you. I know I'm not wrong by saying this. So.
Yeah.
Like sure you can throw a stone at me like I want you fucking to like well, let's go ahead let's have a fucking blood sport here. Let's have a good old mundane Matt Andy Worski live kind of shit where I really want to hash that because there's a lot of shit I want to say to you in particular. But you know what? I'm at the point where I don't really have to do that because I've doubled your numbers, I've quadrupled your numbers. I'm at the point where I don't need to fucking bring you up again. So this is it. If you don't want to start a fight, we're not going to start a fight, and this will be the last time I ever bring you up in this channel. And that's it.
This is this is the nail in the coffin. This is the key in the lockbox.
That's it.
We're done.
I'm now at the point where, like Western Heller, who, ironically enough, as it turns out, Western Heller has been giving Porter money.
Well, I mean,
Where I'm not going to say that she can't do that. It's her business.
it's
She can do
entirely
whatever she
right.
wants with
I
her money.
did speak to her the other night. She did have some decent ideas, so I'd like to talk to her more.
And she's running good
Yeah.
homebrew, and I like it. And when it's finally done, I'll invite her on for the show and say, "Hey, do you want to do an episode where to go over this?"
Yeah, that'd be great.
Nice.
And also,
Hell yeah.
I also noticed that your name isn't fucking in that server that she's sharing the ideas with.
All right.
But I'm talking Porter when I say that. But
Yep.
but by this point, I'm saying that this is it. Where she wanted to know why I didn't like you in particular. I've now put into words as to why I fucking hate you and your co-host. I think Melissa needs to go ahead, cut ties with you, and start her own show if she hasn't done that already. Because I can't fucking listen to your show because this is what your fucking microphones sound like, and that's it. Done.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck
Drop
these guys
mic.
in particular.
This video gonna
And
do numbers. I'll fill it.
And the last guy I want to go over is Brof Alphabosa.
There it is.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Here we go.
Now,
The biggest
Now-
one.
now this is the guy who made Emperor Text-to-Speech. And Kyle, I showed you Emperor Text-to-Speech, and I showed you the videos, and you thought they were funny.
Yeah.
Where you weren't going to get into Warhammer because of them, because you hate Warhammer, but you know it's a thing. So in terms of how big this guy's channel is 409,000 subscribers, 259 videos, and lifetime views, 211,976,204.
Damn.
So this is a channel that's now I don't want to hate these guys. I wish I had the same enthusiasm that Archie has, where whenever a new episode of 100 Parenting comes out, he gets super excited for it. He claps his big baby feet together and he immediately posts clips and screenshots and all the stuff that they post on, I think it's Blue Sky or Twitter, whatever the fuck they use. He'll post it onto the server. He really likes their series. And power to him. If you like their series, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But there's just something about the channel, something about this guy that's just putting me off, where I've really had to like sit down and like hash out in words. I got in an argument with Metro Cop over this in the server, where how this started is that Kyle, you remember our friend of the show, Fox Kitty,
Yeah, I know Fox. He's my favorite communist.
and we A-log
Oh,
different people.
comrade.
We A-log different YouTubers. He's a communist. I'm a hyper-capitalist. We are completely different sides of the political spectrum, but we're still friends at the end of the day. And we'll challenge each other on stuff that we say, and we feel like we're getting smarter based on conversations we have with each other.
awesome.
It's good to have
I
have
love
friends
it.
with different ideas of how things go.
Because I'd rather him push me on ideas because I don't want to create an echo chamber for myself. I don't want to be wrong about everything I say, and I want to sound like a fucking idiot. Where if I say something that's completely wrong in our videos, I'll make a retraction video that next day when I catch that I messed something up.
Accountability.
Yes.
Yes. Where if I make a mistake, I will take responsibility for it, I will take accountability for it, and I will pay up for it. This is something I will do. So what I am about to say, I cannot physically, in order for me to have like proof for what I'm about to say, this is all speculation. This is just something that I'm just noticing a pattern is going on with both Alphabusa, and it's making me skeptical about what I'm seeing, where something just is not right with these guys. And if I'm to prove anything I say, it's going to require me pulling up documentation that I just do not and will not have access to. So, you know the Emperor Text to Speech series, and it never got to conclude. And I have receipts about this. I have everything about what I'm about to say. Now, Emperor Text to Speech had this multiple part conclusion there they were doing, where it was episode 33, where they had this Catan or Satan, however you want to say it, villain, and it was this massive movie that they were making. And checking their Patreon post, it was split up into 3 different parts, where you had a part 1, part 2, part 3. They were in the middle of making a part 3 for the episode, and then production on it just suddenly stops in June of 2022. Now, around that same time, Kyle, Games Workshop releases a statement saying that they were going to start cracking down on fan-made content, where any sort of fan-made video that they were was going to be made and posted onto YouTube, they were going to start enforcing a copyright law takedown strike against that. And that rubbed the fandom the wrong way when that came out.
Yeah.
And do they enforce that policy? Inconsistently is how they enforce it, where there's some channels they took down and then some they left up, where I'm trying to remember the name of the channel. I think it was like Sodas or Sobas. It was like 5-letter words starting with an S. But it was this guy that was making these, it was like source film or Blender animations, where it was Space Marines shooting guns, fighting aliens. And his channel got nuked. And you can say that Games Workshop, even though that was a really shitty thing to do, might have been a little bit justified in doing so, because you're just making Warhammer content as is. But if you're making something that's a parody, a pastiche, or anything like that, they left that alone. And there's still Warhammer 40k parodies up on YouTube that have been left alone. And the Emperor Text to Speech would have fallen under that, where you're not doing Warhammer 40k as it is. You're putting a comedic spin on it, so it's fine. It's fair use. But then again, this is an English company, Colin. You know how much the English will want to respect international law.
Well, no, they want to beat you to death.
Exactly. They still think they're living in 1780. And
Fucking.
and so all of a sudden production on this stops, and Bravo Busa is saying, no, thank you for everything, but they all of a sudden like cut ties and cut production entirely with the episode they were doing for Emperor Text to Speech. Now, on the other hand, these guys, before they did that, made a video on Stellaris back in December 2020, which was a tabletop game that Paradox Interactive made that was sci-fi based, that had themes that were similar to 40k but wasn't 40k. And they were already on. There was already like it was a conjunction with Paradox itself, was their own words, where you went to Paradox Interactive, you talked with these guys, you made this video for it, and I cannot say this, so for legal reasons, this is not how it went down, but it sounded like the video was made to advertise Stellaris.
I mean, I have Stellaris. I have barely played it, but I do have it.
And as for whether or not Alphabusa was paid for that, I can't prove that. I can't prove that.
So you feel like there's something going on, but you really can't confirm anything is going on.
Because shortly after that episode of Emperor TTS was canceled, it seems like almost immediately they started doing the Vampire the Masquerade. Now, their Patreon was up for a month, where no content was being made, no updates were being made, no shows were being announced, and they were still taking Patreon money. Can you make an argument that's consumer fraud? You could, but I don't care enough about that to actually make a legal case. In all honesty,
No.
it's something that I would have said, hey, maybe like turn your Patreon off while that was going on, and don't take money for stuff where people aren't sure if you're going to like make another show. But that's just how I would have done it. Or just like give the people money back for that.
So they made some questionable decisions, but ultimately doesn't seem like any real harm's been done.
Way to do it either. But it just so happened to be convenient that around the same time that the GW announcement came out, Hunter 5th edition came out around the same time. And then coincidentally, what was the next show that they didn't start making right after Emperor Takes the Speech ended? Hunter the Parenting.
Yeah, so, I suppose that's fair.
I'm suspecting that this whole like GW post where people were still making fan animations where I remember like after it came out, somebody made a cartoon about Durthuv in Warhammer. And that I can't find it anymore because I think Games Workshop finally came after it because I was playing it too straight. But there's still parodies of this shit up. And even like Flash Gets is still putting Black Templars in his videos.
Yeah, they have the whole like furry apocalypse videos, and now they have
Space King is awesome.
It is Space King's hilarious as well.
Space King is alright, but that furry apocalypse shit, that's just so fucking cringe to me in all honesty.
I don't care. I thought it was really funny.
I agree. It's not the type of humor is not my cup of tea.
It's it's like Newgrounds from 2005 called. They want their video back.
I don't care. I think it's funny.
Hell yeah, I mean, you're a furry, so no, I'm copying you out. I'm copying you out.
No, don't even.
That was mean. That was mean.
Let me be cringe of my own accord. Damn it.
Hey, you may be cringe, but you are free.
That's true. Kill not the part of you who is cringe. Kill that which cringes.
Now, they did post a poll, but they were making a new IP series saying, what's going to be our next animated series? And they made a poll. But notice the options on the poll and notice who owns them. Where the options were World of Darkness, Battletech, Stellaris, Supreme Death Hell, which was their own original idea. And then any other Paradox licensed setting was also an option. Now, World of Darkness, who owns it right now? Paradox Interactive. Who owns Battletech? Tops NC, but their rights to license the video games is from Paradox Interactive. Stellaris, Paradox Interactive. And what was Paradox Interactive licensed property just an option on the list?
So you're under the impression that they're sort of in Paradox's pocket right now.
I'm convinced that they are, and this is just my theory that they are. Where I think that Games Workshop announcement was a convenient way to get out of a project that was starting to lose its way, because Emperor Takes the Speech by that point felt like a cart being pulled in multiple directions, where you had the main series, but you also had this like not really romance story going on with Kitten and Magnus the Red, and then you had the whole Corvus Correct series that was trying to take itself dead seriously, and then you had all these other minisodes and like the Fabulous Astartes, and it felt like what tone are we going for now? Like, you start off as a parody. Are you trying to tell your own story? Are you trying to be serious? Or are you trying to be funny? I can't tell where we're going with this story anymore.
So it's kind of like what happened with Red versus Blue. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, the tone is everywhere.
Yeah, it feels like
it's the same thing that happened with Red versus Blue. It's the same thing that happened with Team 4 Star. It's the same thing that happened with Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. It's the same thing.
I will say, though, Red versus Blue was great up until I think it was about season 14, the last part of the Chorus trilogy. And then after that, it's just fan fiction.
Like with like the whole like Washington subplot concluded.
Dude, he's still my favorite character in Red versus Blue, and maybe just in television in general. I know it's a little far-fetched calling RVB television, but let's be honest, it is good TV. I know every Halo fan, myself included, is going to bitch about the Halo TV show and how bad it was. We already got a good Halo TV show. It's called Red versus Blue.
Especially when they got Monty Ohm to start animating for them, too.
Yeah, the only problem is that like all the original episodes are like all over the goddamn place, and Rooster Teeth's just been really scummy about like locking the shit behind a paywall. I'm like, God damn it, just let me watch Red versus Blue.
So the conclusion I'm coming to with Rev Alpha Bosa, I'm gonna like list this off. So they did receive permission from Paradox Interactive to use World Darkness as to make Hunters of Parenting, because yes, they did approach Paradox Interactive, did get permission for them to run this, as we can see in the evidence in that Patreon post, and that's why they started making it. So yes, there's without a reason to doubt there is some sort of connection between the channel and Paradox Interactive. Now the stuff that I can speculate but I can't prove is that the reason they ended Emperor's Text-to-Speech wasn't so they could get out of bed with a series that was starting to fall apart and get into bed with Paradox Interactive. I can't prove that. I can't prove that. Like the timing fits. The timing fits like June 2021, July 2021. It all fits around the same time. I think I said like June 2022 for. I'm sorry, that's the wrong date. It's 2021 was the right date. And it's believable to see that there were like starting to get sick of Emperor Text-to-Speech because they were making so many shows off of the show already and were looking to get a fresh start that was more controlled. So it would be a convenient way out, but once again, I can't prove that. July 2021 payments were taken out without new content being made. Once again, I can't really prove that either. Paradox saw a chance to capitalize off of Emperor Text-to-Speech because, let's be honest, Paradox Interactive does this. They did this with Outstar. They brought in Outstar because they saw that she was making videos about World of Darkness, got her on their payroll, and that's why she seems to be just their spokeswoman now. And are they doing the same thing with Bro Alpha Bossa? Once again, I can't prove that. But I think that is the case, but once again, I can't prove that. And then now they're saying on their Patreon that they're going to delete the entirety of Emperor Text-to-Speech because they're saying, oh, if a Games Workshop sends a single or multiple copyright strikes against our channel, then it means that Hunter Parenting is going to be gone. Where Mr. Medicare's channel almost got fucking nuked, but he's still here. He still finds a way to make content. Kino Casino got deleted off of YouTube, and now they're on Kick, and now they're making more money off of Kick because Kick's got better deals for creators. So if that's the big concern, you have an audience of how many thousand at this point? You can find another platform and make money that way. You have a fucking Patreon. Why are you this concerned about the channel being taken down? I mean, it's going to fucking suck. But once people find you again, that same audience from before is going to come back over.
Yeah, I mean, it's despite the overwhelming like monopoly that YouTube has on, personal content creation, they are not the only option. Just like how I think the only Blue Sky, for all of its faults, has been the only time somebody has tried to make a Twitter like and actually make it work. And granted, it was very politically motivated.
And nobody talks to each other on the side either.
But even still, they managed to make it work and maintain a user base.
And even so, like, you can upload videos to Twitter and to Blue Sky. So if the YouTube channel goes down, your videos aren't an hour long, so you can just take this shit and post it over there.
Yeah,
this happens.
People will watch it.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is, are you like scared about Emperor Text-to-Speech being up? It's because you're going to leave yourself vulnerable for GW, because GW knows you exist. Because I have seen ads of Warhammer Tacticus where they did the voice of the Emperor's Text-to-Speech voice for the commercial.
Oh my god.
They know your channel exists, and if it's been up for this long, that means they're fine with it. That means it's fair use. That means that even under English shitty copyright law, your stuff is fine. So it's not going to go anywhere.
Yes, this action, the Codex Astartes does support this action. In fact,
are you seeing this because, like, is this actual fear, or are you doing this because you feel like you're at a point where you're going to distance yourself from Emperor Text-to-Speech and go all in on Hunter the Parenting instead and fully monetize it?
At that point, honesty is the best policy. At that point, like if that was the case, just like, yeah, I mean, we were getting pulled in too many directions, and we wanted to move away from the project. It just happened to be convenient timing. But in all honesty, that's kind of no harm, no foul. We get it. Shit wasn't quite going your way. You wanted to do something else. Paradox offered you a way to do that.
But what I wish they would say is that they would just say it. Where I get like Games Workshop is a shitty company, but they're not the devils, because even though they took down the channels for fan-made content, they offer those people jobs on Warhammer TV. You can make animations and fucking Games Workshop will pay you to do so.
Yeah, this isn't Nintendo. They're not going to try to kill you like they tried to do to Matthew Gafford.
They're not going to hold your channel hostage and then ransom out your ad revenue. That's not what's going to happen.
Yep.
But in order to prove what I'm saying, I'm going to need the scripts that are abandoned. I'm going to need staff logs. I'm going to need pay stubs. I'm going to need all the stuff that I just cannot get my hands on.
So at this point, it's a little conjecture on our part, but like that, this is just a game theory.
So it's just what I'm saying is theory. This is not me saying like this is the thing that went down, but just something going on with Bro Alpha Busted that just does not sit right with me. Just something just deeply bothering me about the channel.
Either way, decent content.
Yeah, because what do you think about 100 parenting? It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Also, what the only thing I've got to really say about that is like, why the fuck does your Norfolk Wizard game take so fucking long to make? It's 1 hour. You sit down. You're in a Discord call. You roll some dice in Discord bot. That's it. Why does it take you at the rate of 1 year per session?
It's probably like a back burner project. It's like
because
us
you've
when
got fucking Frederick Knudsen, whose schedule's fucking impossible. That's why.
well, I mean, yeah. Does Frederick Knudsen still do the down the rabbit hole videos?
He does. Well, the last upload he did was 3 months ago, and then between that, like I'll get the exact numbers for you. Boat Murdered was March 11th, 2025. And then this video before that, Eve Online, was November 1st, 2023.
What the fuck? Yeah,
a hell of an upload schedule, right?
you're fucking telling me. Jesus Christ.
And this is a guy you want to have on for a live play.
That's probably part of it. Yeah, it's yeah.
Like Frederick Knudsen alone is the reason why it takes so long to upload.
That would not surprise me. Like he makes great content, but it's very inconsistent.
But do you really not have the time for a 1 hour Discord call?
I guess he doesn't.
I guess not. I guess.
In between Wikipedia deep dives.
Yeah, and that's it. Man, but and
And
also
now
just
this episode is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
and also you fuckers just make Big D imbued already. Just make the fucking guy imbued. Just do it. Just do it.
No.
Didn't he theorizes that he's a mummy? That's his theory.
I mean,
But
who knows?
And there is because, but by this point, it's left ambiguous to like the Emperor, like Big D, who's like based off the Emperor of Mankind and the Custodians from the Emperor Takes the Speech. He's clearly something supernatural, but they just won't say what it is. Where, unless he really is just the Emperor of Mankind ported into the game, where
That would be funny.
I hope that is the interpretation, but
Imagine he was a Noisha.
but the only other thing they could be is just a fucking mummy, and that's it.
Turns out to be Danston in disguise.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he is Nuisha. That's why he's able to like pull himself back from the brink from all these like serious strikes.
Yep.
But
That'd be the most elaborate prank ever.
I also noticed something too about Emperor Takes the Speech and Hunted Parenting. You can't really say merchandise for Emperor Takes the Speech because Games Workshop are bringing down a hammer for that. But Hunted Parenting, what's one of the first things you do? Start making Kevin plushies.
We should make a Grim plushie. I'd buy one.
Nobody will buy it in the last day.
I'd buy one.
There it is. We'll just
too.
buy. We'll just spend all the money to make a Tyler fursuit for you, and that's all we're gonna do. With the
Oh
money.
God, fucking damn it, no.
That's all we'll do.
No. What I'm gonna do with the channel's money is that I'm gonna buy a custom-made bong, so that I could reenact being my character.
Oh,
just
Jesus.
take fat bong rips.
And I will say with Hunted Parenting it is a significant step up from Emperor Takes the Speech because Emperor Takes the Speech was using clip art and was animating it in the same way like you would like have a Leafy is Here video be animated, where it's in Sony Vegas, it moves around, it wiggles around, and that's your animation. But there's actual animation in Hunted Parenting. So, like, Kyle, when was the last time an animation channel got anywhere on YouTube that was not glitch?
Well, there's Vivzy Pop, and then there's Lackadaisy Tracy, and I'm sure there's
But
more. I can't
we're
think
listing
of it.
exceptions. We're not listing norms here.
That's true.
So
those are the big. Those are some that I
the
can
fact that
think
they're
of.
an animation channel at all and are doing it as well as they are at all is remarkable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there I have it. That's all I've got to fucking say about Bro Alpha Boss. I just have a theory where just something just is not sitting right with me, and that's it really. All right.
Too many dots and need connecting.
All right, we have hit the 3 hour mark. I'm going to call it here.
Bye bye.
And also, I'm really hoping like we get some more World Darkness YouTubers as well. Where
That'll be nice.
I'm beginning to worry that this fandom might be dead because, like, I'm getting a theory that Curseborn is going to come out. It's going to fucking suck, and then Bloodlines 2, where this game has been in development for so long, it's just going to be fucking trash when it comes out.
I don't
I
know.
honestly don't have any hope
There
for it.
is one vampire game for PS5 that I got recently. We haven't hooked up our PS5 yet, but I got it completely out of curiosity. I haven't heard anything about it, but I will let you all know when I do play it.
Please do.
They have been making a lot of visual novels lately,
It kind of is that from what I saw.
but
Well, actually, no, it's not a visual novel. There was that. Who was that one where it was like just complete black and white text on a screen, and they were selling it for like $5?
Oh God.
I remember
Like,
like AI Dungeon or something.
No. It was World of Darkness, and I don't remember who did it. And I remember you told me.
It was that fucking Realm of the Apocalypse or novel that they made that was just super fucking lame.
Yeah,
Yeah, the visual
I don't think
novel?
it's gonna be that.
But there we have it. So I really do hope that we get more like creators in this fandom because I really don't want World of Darkness to be a dead IP because it feels like with all the shit going on with Wizards of the Coast and just like the shoddy state that World 20 is in right now, that I'm beginning to worry that tabletop RPGs might be in a twilight, and we're gonna have another like small fandom period again where Critical Role doesn't really have to draw that used to anymore. And
As long as Vox Machina still, pulls views on Netflix.
I really do want Vampire to keep going as an IP because once again, Kyle, like there's something that in World Darkness that really does speak to us.
I personally love, even now when I'm playing D&D, and I do like playing D&D, I'm thinking like, damn, I really want a gun and be a vampire again.
Yep.
And there we have it. I'm very.
We talked a lot of shit.
I'm very excited to see what the
Hell
comment
yeah.
section is going to say. I'm very excited. For it.
This is gonna be a fucking bloodbath. Read that shit, dog.
Yes.
Please send some shit my way. I want to blood sport you.
Yes.
Now you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was all just rage bait so that Johnny could get into more fights because for some reason that's what he wants, despite being overworked. Stop getting in fights, Johnny.
Conflict is in my nature. Conflict is just in my nature.
You're fucking stupid.
My name is Johnny Asshole in the server for a reason.
Johnny A-ho, and then
I literally just want to sit around, write my books, write music, and drink whiskey. That's all I wanted to do.
Yes.
God damn it.
Well, too bad. You have me with your son now, Colt.
Oh, God, I hate everything.
Oh, come on now. I made a coffee table out of your kitchen table. It's delectable.
Yes, and now my wife is very upset with me.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Hey, I can make another kitchen table. It'll be a little lopsided. It's precisely around like a 180-degree angle, but you guys will figure it out how to eat off of there.
Alright.
I'm gonna do a Vancouver Dark Alliance game with me and Vic, just so we could do that shit the whole time.
Yes, please do it. Please let us reenact our fan fiction. Please.
I should start,
Johnny, please.
That's another game on the list.
Anyway.
Yes.
Will that be it for tonight?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.